Hey guys, what's up? What's going on? I'm Mike King, and you're listening to How Many Fingers Am I Holding Up, the bi-monthly drunk movie review podcast. Well, we're in the endgame now of this podcast. As many of you have heard, and if you haven't, go check out the intro to our drunken review of Jordan Peele's Us, but we are bringing How Many Fingers Am I Holding Up to an end. The official end date is August 1st, when we plan to release a big, loud, drunk bonanza celebration of an episode, trying to fit in as many former guests as possible. Until then, we'll keep releasing episodes every other week featuring some of our favorite previous guests as well. And that includes this week, where we squeezed in Kevin Pettijohn and Lindsey Daly into the same review of Avengers Endgame. If you didn't glance at the runtime already, yes, this is a very long episode. There's so much to talk about with this movie, and we got a little rowdy too. I doubt anybody will complain about that though. So let's not make this any longer than it already is. Here is our drunken review of Avengers Endgame, featuring Kevin Pettijohn and Lindsey Daly. Enjoy. Welcome to How Many Fingers Am I Holding Up, featuring two guys getting snaptured and reviewing movies in a weekly podcast form.
And that synonym was brought to you by yours truly. I'm just kidding. I think Glenn Weldon on NPR coined that term. And a lot of people have been using it, at least in reviews that I've been reading.
Getting snaptured.
God, you know what's the worst? Like reading reviews online of this movie of people who are like, but I don't want to put any spoilers. So it's like an extremely broad, like, it was good, but it was sad.
And for reasons I can't disclose.
Characters from the franchise are in this movie. Like, it's just like the most like, who would read this?
If you're looking for a movie that has superheroes this weekend, go see Marvel's Avengers Endgame, the culmination of over a decade of films featuring heroes like Iron Man and some.
Yeah. Oh shit! I said Iron Man.
Spoiler alert!
Spoiler!
Is he in this movie? We don't know.
Hashtag don't spoil the endgame.
But he's. Oh God! Don't fucking spoil this! Don't fucking spoil!
I'm so sorry, Kevin.
Oh, we had to talk about that. But first,
guys, are we past a review embargo before we talk about this movie? I can't even say whether or not it was a movie.
But first, let's
talk about the guests first.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's right. I'm following script. We don't even have the guest on script. But who? I mean, describe who's on your side, and I'll describe who's on mine.
Do you remember my name?
Well, she's got long brown hair.
Thank you.
She's making eye contact with me. I'm getting real nervous. Her name's Lindsey Daly. And
Nigerian fan favorite.
Here for the Nigerians. So shout out to my fan base in Nigeria. Just wanted to give you guys one last episode.
One Nigerian
That's one of your faves.
Yeah, if you guys aren't familiar, we're ending the podcast, first of all.
We're in the end game.
If that's a shock to you now, welcome.
Oh, wait, did you not?
This is How Many Fingers Am I Holding Up, the podcast. And
did you not announce this yet?
No.
It's been announced every episode.
Okay.
We've
Just
announced
making
this
sure.
maybe 3 episodes ago.
I was afraid I gave a spoiler.
At this point. No, not at all. And so, we don't have many episodes left, so we're doubling up on our favorite guest of the past. And that includes both Lindsey Daly and Kevin Pettijohn, who are joining us this week. You guys are both favorites of ours and fan favorites as well.
Thank you.
So definitely welcome, guys. Hopefully we'll get an appearance by both of you in our final episode, and we can reminisce and everything.
Thanks, Kev.
Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, yeah, so welcome, guys, to your last movie review on this podcast.
And I'm glad it's this movie.
It's good to be
Oh,
back.
man.
I'm so glad.
You guys won the fucking lottery with this movie.
Yeah.
People are gonna really listen to this episode.
When it was coming out, I was just like, I want in.
Yeah.
Gimme.
Same.
If you guys haven't realized, Kevin picks the movies he wants to review.
And they're
We just
all
throw
terrible.
shitty movies at other guests. Kevin says, no, I want the biggest box office.
I think there was one time where you were like, can you come on for like Cafe Society or something like that? I was like, fuck no.
Yeah, you were like,
I'm coming on for Harry Potter.
Yeah.
He was
I've
on
done
for
my
Hidden
time.
Figures, though. Did you pick Hidden
Yeah,
Figures?
that was one
No,
where
no,
we
yeah.
needed like
I
a filler.
I can't picture Kevin being like, you better have me on Hidden Figures. Oscar darling.
Female representation and racial representation. As a white man, I'm all about that.
Oh, hot damn. Oh, man, the Hidden Figures, of the history of NASA, the moon landing, fucking sign me up.
Physics? Yo, I saw Interstellar. That shit dope. Get me on.
Damn. I saw this movie was probably going to be like a white savior movie. Sign me up. You see how he takes that fucking lead pipe and he knocks down like coloreds only like bathroom sign. That wasn't the black people, that was that white guy.
Wasn't even true either.
Yes. That was something for like a white the fucking white screenwriter to feel better about himself.
But honestly, like, I did like that movie. That was a good movie.
It was a good movie.
Hidden Fingers, yeah.
Hidden Fingers. Yeah, but let's
Not as good as The Big Short, though.
I mean, there's so much to unpack in this movie. Let's unpack this alcohol.
Oh.
It's already out of the fridge and out of the box. Jesus. I mean, okay, anyway. So I've brought to you guys Francis Ford Coppola's own gold label Chardonnay. Classy as ever, in a can. I do want to warn you guys, this is like 2 glasses of wine in a can. So
Okay.
We're in the end game.
yes, you're gonna feel it. But Francis Ford Coppola, ironically, directed Avengers Endgame. So yeah,
it was one of the last movies he made before he died, right?
I like that it's just called California Vineyards Chardonnay. Like,
Just
there's a lot of vineyards.
The
in
California ones.
Which one?
They couldn't give spoilers, so they had to be vague.
but
And
it's
for the less eclectic, I present to you a fine 2019 Corona Extra.
ooh.
Freshly opened. Chilled in my closet for
We are-
several weeks.
We are recording this on Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, we are. I was
yeah.
going to get fucking tequila.
But Francis, you're making some good wine. Also, he's still alive, Kevin. We should
Is he?
not be mourning him.
Francis Ford Coppola died.
No, he's
He made some movie.
he's
that's
alive
not-
and kicking.
He made some movie that's not
He's
going
gonna
to be
die when he
released
hears that
until
Joe
he dies,
thought that he
though, right?
directed Endgame.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what I was going to say. I was about to embark on a whole different bit, but again, let's
All right.
get into this.
Let's get into it.
Fucking
I'll read the IMDb description.
I don't even think you said what movie we're reviewing. We're reviewing Marvel Avengers Endgame.
Very nice.
Thank you.
In case anyone didn't realize.
Very nice.
All right. After the devastating events of Avengers Infinity War,
Jeez!
2018. Spoilers! The universe is in ruins. With the help of remaining allies, the Avengers assemble once more in order to undo Thanos' actions and restore order to the universe.
Wow. So this is directed by the Russo brothers, both Joe and Anthony. They didn't include that third brother who's always like, come on, big brother Anthony, big brother Joe.
Is that the guy that does Rocket?
me-
Is he one of the Russos?
No, he's not. That is...
That does Rocket? Bradley Cooper?
Yeah.
No, the guy that does like the mocap for it.
Oh,
He's like
Who's the director
guy
of
that
Guardians
plays-
of the Galaxy?
James Gunn.
Yeah, that's
James
James
Gunn's
Gunn's brother. Yeah.
He does mocap for Rocket because he plays a character in Guardians.
Right.
of the
Yeah,
Galaxy.
yeah.
But he
and
also does mocap for
because
Rocket.
Bradley Cooper's
Son
too
of a
busy to
gun.
actually be on set. Bradley Cooper's too busy hanging himself in a garage to be on set.
We're not past the spoiler embargo for a different movie.
I'll still never forget in the Golden Globes, Andy Samberg was like, here's Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper, you know, like he discovered her like in a drag bar and she discovered him in a garage. I thought that was like the best joke of the Golden Globes.
So does Kevin.
I didn't watch the Golden Globes because I don't care.
Anyway,
That's great.
I don't know. Like, do we want to go down like what they've reviewed? Like,
So 10 years ago, Marvel started the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
No, I will say this. Instead of Joe Notes, I will say this. It's hard not to kind of reminisce about this franchise, take it from somebody who talks badly about this franchise almost exclusively. And
leading up to this movie, Joe, I literally spent the week watching every streamable Marvel movie that was like available, and we have Hulu like Live or whatever it is. So like whatever movies were on TV, I was also able to watch. It was leading up to Endgame, so it was like everything I watched. Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Avengers 2. I watched a lot of B-list Marvel movies that I wouldn't usually watch otherwise.
B-list Marvel movies.
But Iron Man 2, Civil War. Civil War is great though. Like I watched probably like between, I don't actually remember because the stupefaction sets in eventually. Somewhere between like 5 and 10 Marvel movies just leading up to seeing Endgame.
I mean, how long has this podcast been going on now, Mike?
4 or 5 years?
Yeah, 4 or 5 years. This is our 10th Marvel film
counted. Wow.
That we've reviewed. Yeah. And I mean, I know we've discussed bits and pieces about this movie, but again, like after you finish watching this movie or even like during this, it's like crazy to think that like not that long ago, Marvel Entertainment filed for bankruptcy. Nobody gave a fuck about Marvel. Like not that long ago, nobody fucking cared. And they basically got like bought out by like a toy company. And then they independently made a feature film called Iron Man. Which again, Iron Man is not one of their most like well-known properties. I mean, Jon Favreau is directing, who his only success, I think he's directed about 3 or 4 films at this point. His only success has come from Elf. You know, like which is crazy. And then
Didn't he do the one with Vince Vaughn and?
There was his first movie. It was like a $5 million budget.
Wedding Crashers?
No, I can't remember the name
The
of it.
Breakup or something.
There's another one too.
I don't know.
Swingers?
Swingers.
Yeah,
No, that was he didn't direct it, but he
he
was a part of it. And then you also have Robert Downey Jr.
who was coming out of like rehab.
Right, no, who's playing Iron Man, who's a recovering heroin addict. He's been in and out of jail. He's been in and out of rehab.
And also, like, Iron Man, Tony Stark in the comics is known for being an alcoholic and recovering alcoholic.
But, I mean, like, if you look into Robert Downey Jr.'s history, like, it's bad. Like, they wouldn't allow him on film.
Movie back.
Yeah, they wouldn't allow him on... Well, there's a few movies before this, but they wouldn't allow him on, like, film sets because there was such, like, a gigantic, like... just, like, insurance they would have to pay. I think, actually... what's his name? Fucking director of Hacksaw Ridge,
Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson, who's like a friend of his, would pay the insurance price like every time Robert Downey Jr. went onto like a film set or something. Yeah, and he's the only reason like he has like his. It's just like a crazy history. And then here, 10 years later, they've built it into like this 20-something movie franchise. And Endgame has like the biggest movie opening of all time.
I mean, 1.2 billion.
Yeah, and
something?
we're recording this on May 5th, and I think it just passed
2 billion.
Really?
It just passed 2 billion, which is
2.189 billion.
What's like
it
the
passes
highest?
like Titanic.
Do you guys know what like the highest grossing movie is? I know you
Avatar.
guys are good with numbers. Like globally, like what's
Avatar globally. Endgame hasn't passed it yet, but
how much did like Avatar make? Like, over its lifetime?
I don't have a figure for you, but as of this weekend, Endgame has passed The Force Awakens and Titanic.
Yeah. That's just like mind blowing to me because that means that there's so many people seeing like the fact that Endgame is going to make more money than Infinity War means that there's people seeing Endgame that didn't see Infinity War. They're just like,
or they're watching it on Netflix or
it was on
something.
Netflix for a while.
It's just this whole franchise is wildly improbable, kind of, when you think about it. And you just kind of have to
and so many
marvel at the... That's it! Podcast is done! We'll see you, ladies and gentlemen, never. Anyway, I just want to put that nice sentiment out there, because I think, again...
Because now I'm going to shit on it.
No, it is something to be marveled at. Like, there's so many
these
things
are incredibly repetitive movies, in my opinion.
Well, this is also something that, like, so many people have attempted to do, creating, like the only thing that comes close to a cinematic universe that reaches the heights of the MCU is, like...
The Dark Universe.
Just Disney movies in general. Like, Disney
Star Wars, I guess. I mean...
Yeah,
like the Star Wars prequels, people fucking hate. Like,
but they still were profitable enough that they were able to keep making them.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. Like, all the Marvel movies, like, despite how much we might shit on them, like, that's the thing. I rewatched some of these movies, like, leading up to Endgame, and, like, in all honesty, none of them are bad. These aren't badly made movies. Like, I agree. Like, Ant-Man and the Wasp, I kind of hate. But, like, at the same time,
I
think most of the recent ones are good.
Yeah,
I think they took a while. I do like Iron Man and Iron Man 2. And I even actually like Iron Man 3, which a lot of people should
I rewatched Thor 2, which I hated when I saw it, but I rewatched it. I'm like, oh, this is actually, like, an awesome, like, high fantasy, like, adventure. I didn't like it at the time because it was so different from Thor 1. And then Thor Ragnarok is completely different and awesome. But... like, rewatching all these movies, like Avengers 2, when I saw it, I was like, this is bad, because it wasn't Avengers 1, but rewatching it just as a movie by itself, it's a good movie. Like, and the only thing that I think would come close to the MCU in, like, actually happening is just, like, Disney animated films. Like, that's, like, reaching this, like, iconoclast of movie that's going to exist forever. Like, when we're, like, 40... when we're, like, fucking 60 and we have, like, grandkids, like, our grandkids are going to be watching these movies.
That's the thing to kind of take a step back and look at, is that it's possible that nothing like this will ever happen again.
Yeah.
It's very possible that planets will never align again. You know, regardless of how you feel about these films, it's possible that nothing will ever have the same, like just shade of success that this is.
Yeah, it's 100% possible that studios will never have the patience to do what Marvel did.
Yeah. No, because we look at DC films,
even like Phase 4 of the MCU, which are like pushing, might not be as successful as this.
But again, like I was kind of just joking about, like, oh, the Dark Universe or the DC, and like, you know, even we just saw like the new trailer for like the new Annabelle or whatever.
The new Godzilla movie that's coming out.
It's just everybody's kind of trying to create these universes, and they just don't have the same patience that was applied.
They're all too thirsty.
This. Yeah,
They're all trying to come out with their Avengers. Like, they don't realize that, like, Avengers was so successful because before Avengers came out, you had Iron Man 1. Avengers 1, Captain America 1, and it was all these movies building up with little after credit scenes and you know, plot points that were all leading up to this, like, oh shit, they're gonna do an Avengers movie. Also, Marvel Comics, like, I've always been a Marvel Comics guy over DC Comics. Like, my brother loves DC, I love Marvel because I'm an idiot, my brother's an intellectual, but like, Marvel's this, like,
your brother's Zack Snyder.
No, my brother, like, loves, like, DC stuff because he loves these, like, complicated stories where, like, people get raped and stuff like that. And I'm just like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if, like,
that's what an intellectual is.
And I'm just more into, like, you know, these, like, light, like, Saturday morning cartoons, you know, type of stuff, like X-Men, all that. I love all that shit.
Lindsay, what is your history with Marvel and
Because
superheroes? And
this was
how did you end up on this?
This was kind of surprising, wanting to
because you requested
right?
this.
Yeah.
I did. So I have an interesting, like, history with the Marvel Universe because I actually hated superhero movies. I thought they were all the same. I didn't like any of them. I didn't understand why.
Up to like what gave you that?
Like, why did I not like them?
Yeah, like the Spider-Man movies, or like.
I just didn't, like, I would go see them because, like, a bunch of friends were seeing them when we were, like, younger, and that was the only thing you could do to, like, go hang out with your friends, and I was always bored.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand why they made so many Spider-Mans, and they were all different people. I wasn't understanding why that was happening. And then
Spider-Man's out there.
Yeah.
Well, you have Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield. Now we have Tom Holland. And I was like, are these like the same movie? Like, I didn't understand why they would be like, you know what we haven't done in 5 years? A Spider-Man movie.
No, you know what we haven't done in a half a year? A Spider-Man movie. And
it felt like they were remaking movies that had just come out, so I didn't understand that.
I think Homecoming came out in the same year that Spider-Man 3 came out.
It was it was super close. And then my boyfriend actually grew up reading all of the comic books, and so he's a big Marvel nerd, and he begged me to go with him because he didn't want to be like that creepy guy alone at the movie theater to go see Spider-Man Homecoming. Right. And I was like, okay, that was actually cool. I liked it.
Yeah, Spider-Man Homecoming's awesome. Just because it has Michael Keaton in it. Michael Keaton's fucking awesome.
I was like, that was a good movie. Maybe I need to change my mind and start giving these movies a chance. Then he asked me to go see Infinity War, and I was hooked from the very beginning of it. And then I was mad that I didn't know all of the reasons why everything was happening.
Had you seen Thor Ragnarok before?
No, that movie was hilarious.
Yeah, and plus Thor Ragnarok ends where they're like, "Woo!" We did it. And then they all die. It's hilarious.
So after seeing Infinity War, we went back and I watched all the movies in a row. And I just became super into it. I liked all the different stories. I liked how it felt very planned out. They knew that this was the end. Well, the end game. This was the ending.
There's actually a scene in Avengers 2. I was rewatching all these movies, and there's a scene in Avengers 2 where Tony Stark is talking to the rest of the group when he wants to make Ultron, and he points up and he's just like, space, where all those people are coming from, that's the end game. And I was just like...
Well, they have an end-game line in Infinity War too, right? Doctor Strange is we're in the end game.
That's why they predicted that would be the title. But
it's been
And then Taylor Swift is like, I want to be your end game.
They really missed an opportunity with that song.
First string.
I can't wait.
And it was really weird how they blared that at the beginning of this movie. It was big reputation.
You know a lot of the words of that song, Joe.
I kind of was into that song.
It's not a bad song.
It was it was a weird blend. I mean, Future and Ed Sheeran were in it. It was just.
I'm sorry. What is this? A new Taylor Swift song that came out or something?
Chug this wine now.
Yeah, this is one of those tangents we said we weren't going to go on. So maybe
we have no time. We haven't even gotten to the plot of this movie.
We haven't even talked about this movie yet.
You guys keep tangenting for a minute though.
But I liked all the after credit scenes and how they were hints to the next movie, because I think it's fun when fans of a movie...
A real tense moment involving the camera right now as Kevin went to go use the bathroom. You're fine.
You're fine. Yeah, the camera's just placed. Yeah.
I just think it's fun when there's something in a movie and all the fans of it just love it and they're excited. In the after credit scene... for a bunch of the movies that I ended up seeing, when people would just be like, ah!
Right, yeah. Uh-huh.
I love that, because I like when people just, shamelessly
did you catch up
something.
On most of them? Did you see most of them?
I saw most of them. There are probably a couple I missed that Ryan would just be like, you essentially saw that.
You're right, yeah.
We saw the important ones, and... I mean, I've liked all of the ones that I've watched, so I'm a late comer to the Marvel adventure, but I still really like it.
I feel like, in a sense, Mike and I are kind of late comers. I feel like before we watched Captain Marvel Civil War, which is kind of one of those, it's not a one-off movie. It's not a kind of oh, here's the origin story of so-and-so. It's kind of all right, we're into this shit now. You need some sort of background. I don't know. And then
well, you even needed that background for Homecoming, because he kept... Because I was like, how does he know Iron Man?
We're deep into
what is he talking about?
Yeah.
What does he mean he stole Captain America's shield? And so I just felt lost. So I was like, I need to go... If I'm going to watch these movies now, I need to go see all of them.
Yeah. Just to talk about this movie on a broader sense, I really like that this movie... it rewards you for watching every every Marvel movie, like you're kind of talking about, I think in some way they make reference to like every single movie in this, besides like the Edward Norton Hulk or something. It's in a surprising amount of it, like also doesn't feel forced. Like I feel like the script is kind of just like living in like real time in like the lore, and like something I never thought I'd say is like maybe like Star Wars should take note of like what's happening. Like it doesn't feel like Easter eggy. It doesn't feel like,
well, because it felt like this was what they were always building to, and they had this in mind. Like it felt I feel like I've seen a lot of like finales of like TV shows where you're like, oh, like the show kind of sucked for the past 3 seasons, and now it gets good because this is where they were saving all the good stuff for it. It was all just filler before that. And Star Wars does kind of feel like it's like, well, and that literally what it is. It's just like, well, pass this on to the next director, and where do they want to take it, rather than like having a grand vision for where things are going to go.
This
like,
feels
more
more
working towards it.
This feels more organic than some of the more recent Star Wars movies. You know, like it's just like, oh, of course this would happen, instead of like Solo, which is kind of like, Han Solo, he did this between the 2 movies that y'all love and know. And it's just kind of like, this is just kind of like, well, fuck, we gotta go do this thing.
And also, this movie, like, fully... This and Infinity War. When I saw fucking Infinity War, that was, like, one of the best superhero movies that I've ever seen, because it fully embraces the fact that this is a comic book. And no other movie has really... Like, all movies trying to bring comic book... like IPs into like the common space, try to like make them for like a cinematic audience and stuff. They're like, okay, we need to like dumb this shit down for like cinematic audiences, where Infinity War just went full comic book, where it's like, we're gonna kill half of the cast, which is something that comics do all the time. Like comics, because comics have runs with different writers, and all of those runs are individual stories. So you'll have this run with Wolverine that is a full like book, like a graphic novel that you're reading, and it'll end with like Wolverine like blowing his brains out, or like, you know, like murdering somebody, and then you open up on this new story that's might start at a completely different point that has nothing to do with that previous story. And the way that Marvel makes up for that, which is something that like DC never really did, but they did eventually with like Infinite Earth or something like that, is the fact that there's like multiple universes, which I'm hoping that they eventually like get into in the Marvel universe, where like everything that's ever existed and that stuff where you can get be like, why are there so many different Spider-Men? There are so like, did you see Spider-Verse by any chance, or Into the Spider-Verse?
Oh, definitely.
I heard it was really good.
It's so fucking good, and that's one of honestly like the best superhero movies ever, because it's just like there are 10 different Peter Parkers, or not Peter Parkers, but like Spider-Man, and they all exist together.
But what I liked about Infinity War is that there was no satisfying ending. It just ended where it ended.
Well, they flipped the switch on the trend that they created of superhero movies, where the good guy always wins in the end. And, like
Infinity War is...
It was satisfying because of how much we had to put up with of Marvel movies, where it was always a happy ending.
Infinity War was Thanos' movie. It was a movie about Thanos. It wasn't about the Avengers
story. Yeah, but then also, I mean, if you've listened to our Infinity War review, you'll know that I didn't like it. Honestly, I kind of soured on it, like, since we've done this. But I think this movie does a lot to improve this movie, or Infinity War. And
have you watched Infinity War since reviewing it?
Yeah, I watched it on Netflix. Yeah, when it came out on Netflix. But
I still don't like it.
I'm still not crazy about it. I think I like this movie a lot more.
You didn't like Peter Dinklage as a giant
dwarf? I think a lot of Let's fucking get into it.
Yeah.
Let's
Can we also there's not a lot we can talk about in this movie without spoilers.
We're gonna get into
Can we just throw the spoilers gauntlet down right now? And then I can't think of anything I can talk about in this movie that's not.
They lifted the ban, like the actors are now allowed to spoil.
But for anyone who hasn't seen it and doesn't want it spoiled,
go see it.
We're throwing the spoiler gauntlet.
Go see it in IMAX.
If you don't want spoilers, you shouldn't click on a link that says review of Avengers.
It was also I just made fun of like the kind of like oh, here's like a non-spoiler review of Endgame. Like it's stupid. It's an oxymoron at this point.
The movie's good. Go see it.
Right, yeah.
I clapped real hard.
So, at this point, we are going to do spoilers. If you want to go see the movie, I would suggest you pause it right now and then return to this podcast.
If you haven't seen Endgame yet, what's wrong with you? This review's coming out like a month later.
I read one of those lists of like opportune moments to use the bathroom during the movie because I heard it was 3 hours long, and just in case, I wanted to prepare. But they didn't want to give spoilers, obviously, so it would be like when Nebula is talking.
I read that,
Sync your watches when the Marvel.
It was
theme
literally
starts
like
playing.
when Nebula
get
like
very
looks
broad,
up and to the right, go to the bathroom.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
And it was so vague that during the movie I was like, I don't even know what the fuck anybody's talking about, so I'm just gonna stay here. I did end up going once because I got bored.
I was
let's
very
go off,
proud
though.
of myself because I'm notorious. My girlfriend knows on our road trips, there are many times where we'll be on 8-hour road trip and I will pee somehow 84 times. But but I made it through this whole movie without peeing. I was very proud of myself. I was
Congratulations.
This movie didn't feel like 3 hours, which
Oh, it did for me.
Also a small portion, very crucial scenes of this movie were leaked on Twitter
watched
and
them.
everything. And if you know me, I have very little self-control with really anything in my life. I will overeat. I mean, on this, I'll just eat a whole fucking bag of
you want this
candy
ecstasy?
or snacks.
Would you like some ecstasy?
Just give me a whole fucking mouthful of ecstasy. I'm kidding. Never done drugs before. I'll over fucking drink while I'm fucking talking about a movie. But so I had zero self-control. It was like, Endgame spoilers leaked on Twitter, and I was like, well, I gotta fucking see this, man. Also, because I didn't really fucking care about this movie. I didn't like Infinity
Were
War.
they actual spoilers? Now that you've seen the movie, were they?
So we got some clips.
I can't wait to talk about this movie. I'm
so-
getting so hyped when you're talking about spoilers.
It was just like a bunch of like defining clips of this movie. But honestly, I gotta say,
I went and saw it, and my roommate watched like a Russian like rip of it, and was just like, "Don't worry, you can talk about whatever." Like, I've seen it, and he was like, "It wasn't that bad. It was like one of the 3D versions, but I didn't have the glasses, so like there were just two of everybody." I'm like, "Dude, why you want just
Red
see
Thor
the
was
movie?"
really cool, but Blue Thor not so great.
We literally we live within walking distance to a movie theater.
But honestly, you can spoil as much as you want about this movie. Nothing compares to the cinematic experience of this film.
Yeah.
It's truly just like what's his name in Jurassic Park. They fucking truly spare no expense.
Did you see this in a premium format? Or?
It's incredible. I saw it
Did
in
you see it in
IMAX 3D.
You
and
did?
It
I
was
waited too long to buy.
fucking wild.
You saw it in IMAX 3D?
Yes, y'all missed out on 36% of the movie.
How much were those tickets?
I have AMC A-list, so it's free.
Wait,
Let's
what?
I paid $20 a month to watch movies. Let's get into this
That's
movie
not bad,
though.
man. Though. Because
no,
those
no,
tickets are probably like
it
$20.
is.
You know?
Movie
Oh, they're
tickets
expensive.
are very
They're like
expensive.
$18 for like the Dolby
Oh,
tickets.
yeah. So when
I wanted to see this in Dolby, but they were all the good seats were
I'm
taken
gonna
in Dolby.
go see it in IMAX again.
And I ended up having to go to this one theater that I hate, AMC Classic in Allentown. It's fucking awful. It's like, I don't know who is managing this theater, but they have no idea how to handle anything. They were not prepared for the biggest movie event of the century to take place
When did
there.
you see it? When did you see it? How
It
far
was
was it?
Sunday of the
That's
weekend
like
it came
that's
out.
Okay.
like the low.
So I can't imagine what Friday and Saturday were like.
I think it's
at
at
theater.
AMC
What was wrong
now,
with
but
it?
There's
So-
a movie theater in Cherry Hill where people will just get like stabbed randomly, and it's like, dude, I'm trying to like see a movie right now, and y'all are like canceling the theater because there's blood everywhere.
No
Big
blood, but
pain
just
in the
one of the
ass.
most disgusting AMC's I've ever been to. Like, I usually like going to AMC because it's
Have you been to the
generally a
AMC?
pretty well-run establishment. Like, I feel like I'm getting the benefits of going to a chain theater. Like,
Right.
everything's
Have you
clean,
been- have you been to
everything's
the
well
Marlton
run, everything's
AMC,
on
Mike?
time.
Have you been to the Marlton AMC?
No.
The hand job capital of America.
This one was just like literally like even in the lobby, like popcorn and sticky soda all over the floor. Like I felt dirty the moment I walked in there. They had a million people running like the tickets, but they had one guy running the food. So we made the mistake of like buying food. We got there like half an hour early before even like the trailers would start for the movie, thinking like we have that plus the 20 minutes of trailers for the movie will be fine. We still showed up like right as like the trailers were ending for the movie because that's how long it took.
You missed the
because there's one dude doing all the food for everybody, so like I could just see this guy like wiping sweat off his face, like
into the popcorn,
like throwing pretzels and shit.
There's a little bit of salt. Yeah, that's how you get the salt in there.
It was the worst.
You missed the Moana Fast and Furious mashup.
I think so. Yes. What, Matt? I have no idea what you're talking about.
No, well, you're welcome.
So then, like
Calvin and Hobbes.
We also were like thinking like, oh, it's like the opening weekend. We should get there a little bit early so we can get decent seats. And then we're in like the theater that's like half of a theater. Like the rows are like maybe like 6 seats wide. It's the weirdest theater I've ever been in. Yeah. And we had to sit in the absolute front row. So I was watching on this
that's how
not even that big of a screen, but
I used to be against like picking your seating, but then ever since I joined AMC A-List, like I'm just like, oh, I gotta go see Avengers in 2 weeks. It's just kind of like
it's like flying first class all the time.
It is. And but let's fucking jump into this movie because I can already hear the comments of like, why aren't you guys even fucking talking about the movie yet? Honestly, I gotta say, the Hawkeye opening scene doesn't do much for me.
No?
That's because Hawkeye isn't your favorite Avenger, but he's mine.
I hate Hawkeye. I think he's the weakest Avenger.
I don't like Hawkeye.
And I like Jeremy Renner. And
I used to play Hawkeye all the time in the side-scrolling arcade X2 video game.
Well, okay.
Too deep.
Come back. I love me some Hawkeye.
But I liked that because he was obviously absent from Infinity War, and a lot of people were like, that's weird that it's just like, he's on house arrest, he's hanging out with his family, so he's not here. And that was it. So I liked that we saw it from his point of view, and like the minute they showed them, I'm like, oh, these motherfuckers are all disappearing. Yeah. I thought maybe one of them would stay.
I had just watched Avengers 2, Avengers 2 is when he introduces the rest of Avengers to his family. And he like takes them.
Age of Ultron.
Yeah, he's like, we need to like lay low. Let's go to my place. And like Tony Stark the whole time is like, well, obviously these are like SHIELD agents or something. Like these aren't real people.
I was cracking up at the Red Letter Media review was like, why when Thanos snapped his fingers was it daytime in Africa and also daytime in America? When you were just like, it's like, because like you can't have like a cute family moment in the middle of the night. Like,
I did like the scene because it did actually make me care about Hawkeye, and none of the previous films have
when it
successfully made that happen.
When it happened, me and Angie were sitting there, and I was just like, I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready.
I was going to be really pissed if he didn't get reunited with his family.
Yeah.
But I got invested in him, and I have never cared about him at all until that scene.
Yeah.
That might just be me being too emotionally
disagree,
involved
but we'll get into that.
Jeremy Renner's an awesome actor.
You didn't care about the opening scene or about...
Oh, no, I don't care about Hawkeye. I didn't care about the opening scene. And then, like, we cut to, like, I mean, it's in the trailer, but, like, Hawkeye in Japan, like...
Yeah, no.
You know,
it
was like, oh, like... It was like Marvel doesn't have like
is there a character name for that version?
Hawkeye's
he's Ronin, but it's like we don't have like an Asian like superhero who's on like the front of like a poster or whatever, but like
Doctor Strange's sidekick.
Doctor Strange's sidekick,
Spider-Man's friend.
But goddamn, do we sure love like Asian iconography? And like it's just like it's maybe the third or fourth at this point, like sad white dude in like the MCU who goes to like an Asian country to like find himself. And the action scene is also like it tries to be like a oneer kind of, and like
but
it's technically impressive. But it's just kind of like, guys, we're doing a superhero movie. If I shot this, I'd be like, all right, then shoot this. It's just kind of like everything's happening off camera and everything. Like, this isn't Roma. This is Ronin. It's like, it's just like, I had other things to say, but I want to leave off on that. It's just like,
It's not John Wick or anything.
Right.
I think
But,
it's
like,
interesting that you interpreted that as him going there to find himself. I think he was just trying to murder all the bad people that he felt deserved to disappear, and not the good people
it
like
just
his
so
family.
happened that they
It
also
wasn't like
had
an eat, pray, love situation.
They also,
I think he's. I'm sure there's a lot of bad shit happening in America, but he's like, oh god, my family lived in America. I gotta find myself in another.
Well, I think he was going all over. That was just the
He was in
scenery
Mexico.
happening.
it just so happened
Right.
that they also had access to that one soundstage that they also used at the end of Doctor Strange
right, yeah.
and in Black Panther. That ambiguous ethnic soundstage.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. But
Well,
I love Hawkeye. Like, Hawkeye's fucking dope. And I love that they finally, like, he's a big part of this movie, and also the Black Widow Hawkeye relationship is a big part of this movie, because teased a lot of the time leading up to this was that we were going to get a Hawkeye Black Widow movie, which just never happened.
I heard that is happening.
Well, it's maybe on Disney XD. Who knows?
That's fucking weird. Wait, question that you would know the answer to,
Yeah.
and I maybe missed it at some point.
Yeah.
They always talk about Budapest. Do we know what happened there?
And
that's
that's
was
to be
number
It's-
2, right?
No, it's a callback to like that relationship between
Yeah.
Hawkeye and.
But have we ever seen what happened?
So that was supposed to be like the Hawkeye Black Widow. So maybe that will happen eventually.
Yeah.
They'll do a prequel movie.
I thought they were doing. I heard they were doing
Yeah.
a prequel of Black Widow, and he'll be in it, and
That was
it'll
supposed
show
to-
us
that was
what
supposed
happened
to be
in
the thing.
Budapest.
And that was my favorite moment. Like, I just love Hawkeye as a character, and I especially love the way they did him in this whole cinematic universe. And my favorite part is in Avengers 2, when he like gets thrown through like a building or something. He's hanging out there with like Scarlet Witch when they're fighting all the robots at the end. And he's like, look, you need to like man the fuck up. We're fighting an army of robots. I'm using a bow and arrow. Nothing makes sense about this. And I was just like, yes, nothing about this entire cinematic universe makes sense. And
I love how he
awesome.
goes
But they
from, like,
joke
one-
about that a lot.
Yeah.
They make fun of themselves.
Yeah,
That's why
yeah.
I like it too.
They
Yeah.
go from like he goes from like one archaic weapon to another. Like he goes from a fucking bow and arrow to a
sword.
samurai sword. No, that's what I'm talking about. He's like, I'm in Japan, finding myself with a samurai sword.
Yeah.
Ooh, m'lady. Like it's just like it's like when it came to the Soul Stone scene, it was just kind of like, okay, listen, one of these people has become a cold-blooded murderer,
Yeah.
and one of these people is holding the Avengers together
They're-
on her own.
they're both
It's like,
cold-blooded
I
murderers,
really hope one dies and one doesn't, and then yeah, and
we'll
the
get to
opposite
that.
happens.
Yeah, we'll get to
we'll get to that though. Yeah.
I did like that scene though.
Yeah.
To jump ahead a little.
I don't
bit.
like that scene.
Black
at all.
I
Widow
cried.
and Hawkeye's relationship, like even in Avengers 1, when like Hawkeye's like mind controlled and Black Widow has to like fight him and stuff, instead of killing him, you know, she knocks him out and, you know, he recovers and they get to be friends again. Like they are the two like just people in the Avengers. Like they're literally like they're amazing, like highly trained spec ops soldiers, but like they're just dudes.
Just, yeah.
And it keeps you grounded
And-
in this universe where
And for me,
you have actual superheroes.
in the Soul Stone scene, I don't like it because it kind of very quickly becomes like this kind of comedy of errors. Like it very quickly becomes like mad, like, you know, like mad, like spy versus spy, like where it's kind of like, yeah, and then I zapped Hawkeye, and then he shot like an explosive arrow at me, and we're like fighting over dying. I'm like, all right, it's very quickly shifting in tone from like sad to like kind of like slapsticky.
They have to do
Yeah,
that.
because I
though.
got
They
that
have to do
feeling
that.
because I genuinely didn't know which one. I was
gonna
expecting
die.
I was expecting most of the Avengers to die in this movie, and I didn't know which one was actually going to die. And I thought
Same.
that was fun to kind of play on my expectations of who's it going to be. They both have reasons that they think that they need to be the one that sacrifices it.
In that scene specifically, I was saying to Angie when we were in the theater, I was like, oh, they're just going to kill Red Skull. That's what I thought was going to
I
happen.
thought that too.
I didn't think either of them was going to die because they're both so important. And
Because I can't
People's
really
contracts are up,
I can't
Yeah.
really imagine a version of that scene where that isn't the result of it.
Yeah.
Because I can't imagine a version where like Scarlett Johansson's just like, oh, I'll be the one, and Jeremy Renner's like, okay, yeah, sure, I got a family, I gotta go back to them.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
or where he's like, whatever, and she's kind of like, oh yeah, whatever, like, yeah, I'll go back to the Avengers.
Maybe I would just kind of, I don't know.
It felt fresh too,
was-
because like I feel like we haven't had that type of sacrifice scene. Like I feel like we usually have the back and forth verbally, and then we have the one switch where some like it's like Armageddon, the scene in Armageddon where he like he's like, you know, I'll go, you gotta go take care of my daughter or whatever. Like we don't usually have it keeps going back and forth and we're genuinely up in the air. Like
There aren't that
I
many.
think
who's gonna die?
There aren't
think
that
it's
many
just-
serious scenes in the MCU.
Yeah.
I think it's staged a little weird where I think it becomes a spy versus spy comic.
I mean
at
the
some point.
whole thing's
It was just kind of like, and it was just like they were like trading back and forth. Like, well, I'll do a backflip and shock you in the back of the neck so you can't kill yourself first. And it was just kind of like I was kind of like, all right, whoever dies, I'm not gonna feel sad for because this is like a weird departure in tone. Or
See, I felt it was like it was nice build up so that when Scarlett Johansson was actually in a scenario where there was just no coming back, and then he didn't even want to like let go of her. Like,
It was also
nice.
kind of like we just saw this scene in
Civil
Infinity War. In Infinity War, that it was like it was just like this mirror of a scene that already happened, kind of like of just like the shots like side by side. It's like Gamora's just like at the bottom of the cliff, and then Scarlett Johansson's like at the bottom of the cliff. It's just like these like mirror images, and like
But the movies are tied. Like
Yeah,
I see the
definitely,
logical point of that, but I'm also just kind of like, I mean,
You're right.
it shouldn't look different.
This is one of the
either,
few
like-
scenes I have a problem with, but
Yeah. I would have preferred in that scene if they had just killed Red Skull. Like that's why I thought like when they both
I saw
looked at-
memes that were like, oh, like me like befriending Red Skull so that I can push him down and get the soul stone.
when they both like looked at each other and were like, I know what needs to happen. I thought they were just gonna together murder Red Skull.
And when they're
'cause
like,
fuck
wait,
Red
are we
Skull.
talking about the same thing?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, so they're going to try to kill him at least, if that's even a possibility. I don't really know what his deal is.
Yeah.
he'd be
But-
like, I'm like
I'm
already
already
fucking dead, and what are you guys doing? And then like also I like to laugh about kind of like Captain America's like, okay, I'm gonna go return all the stones. I'm like, you're gonna go return a stone to like Red Skull?
That
Like,
makes
No,
it
well,
was
that's
like-
they stole. So
That makes
there's a
sense.
lot of argument about that. They stole the Tesseract from that point in time, so that's just where he needs to return it to.
That's
Blah,
true.
blah, blah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we have Captain Marvel kind of randomly
Well, we
finding
didn't- we
Tony
didn't even
Stark in the
talk
middle
about
of
that,
space.
like beginning to this movie at all, did we?
What's that?
I feel like we just started like talking
Yeah, let's
about
go back
Hawkeye.
a little.
Okay,
Yeah.
what's before this?
Credits.
Anticipation.
the first preview.
Well, actually, there weren't. There was like 30 minutes of this movie before like the title screen happened. So
There was,
What?
yeah.
Wait,
yeah,
what? What are
there
you
was
talking about?
there was like 30 minutes of this movie before like the
Yeah,
title. There
it-
was
it
Tony
wasn't-
Stark and Nebula in the ship together, and
That's
bonding.
not 30 minutes. That's not 30
No,
minutes.
no, and then Captain Marvel shows up, and then the
That's
Avengers
not
are
even 30
together,
minutes.
and then
Not
after,
30. He's exaggerating, but
Okay.
it was a while. Usually
Yeah.
it's opening previews and then the Marvel thing happens and you know that the movie's
I
started.
feel like
This just
the
cut
Avenger-
right into
the Avengers
Hawkeye.
Endgame thing didn't happen until after they killed Thanos, right?
Okay, before 15 minutes into the film, they're killing Thanos.
Oh, yeah, when they chop his head
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
Okay,
Which
that
is-
felt
it was like
30
10
minutes.
minutes in.
That felt
Which
like
is
30 minutes to me.
such a it's honestly Captain Marvel finds Tony Stark in the middle of space. Also, did Robert Downey Jr. lose that much weight,
Or was it CGI?
Yeah, I have to believe this is some of Marvel's very impressive
Oh my
CG.
god, dude! When they had
looks
Michael
deathly skinny.
Douglas on as the like younger version of himself, I literally out loud was like, "Jesus fucking Christ!" Like
When in this movie?
yeah,
Yeah, the Avengers-
Professor Pym. When they go back to the one place in
Oh,
New
yes,
Jersey,
yes,
he
yes,
shows
yes,
up on
yes.
screen and he's
Yes.
just like
Uh-huh.
fucking like he's 20 years old or something.
That's
Yeah,
scary.
yeah,
it is scary what
That's
they're doing.
really great. I mean, I have to believe that. I don't think Robert Downey Jr. actually lost that much weight, just because. I mean, we already had like the hologram scene of like him talking to his dad or whatever, when like, yeah, Robert Downey Jr. is all of a sudden like 20 years old or whatever. But okay, one question that I had for this like spaceship scene is, why does Nebula move Tony Stark to like the captain's seat
For him to die
after he falls asleep?
She's a robot, so she's not gonna die. Like, she's mainly robotic at this point, so she's gonna live longer than he is. That's the same reason why he like
but
gives
I thought
her
he had
the
like
food.
a whole nother day or something.
I mean, it's
Well, I
at
thought that
point,
was like to have him
Was he
die
going to
in
sleep
the
for the
captain's
last
seat. It was
time?
like ceremonial.
yeah,
Okay.
like at that point he's
And
like running out of
I
oxygen.
can get behind that. I
Not
mean,
just, like,
I
dead
I
slumped in
wasn't
the back
sure
of
if
the
there
ship.
wasn't.
Like
Did it
that-
matter?
Well, that's the thing. Like
To Joe, it did.
How does Captain Marvel find them?
That's a more important question.
that's one.
How
of
does
these-
Captain Marvel do anything in this fucking movie?
I think
I liked
Captain
Captain
Marvel-
Marvel a lot.
Captain-
I
Did you
hated her in this movie.
Captain Marvel's
Did you
involvement.
like the Captain Marvel?
I love the Captain Marvel.
Captain
I had a
Marvel's-
fun fucking time with that
Captain
movie.
Marvel's-
and she's so useless and pointless in
Well,
this
we
movie.
found
Captain
out-
Marvel's involvement.
We found out that they made this movie before they even
Please
fucking
let
made
Joe
Captain
finish.
Marvel.
That honestly was a big. There was the whole reveal that she had to decide on her hairstyle for this
myself.
movie before she had even filmed the Captain Marvel standalone
That's
movie.
wild. That's wild.
It's ridiculous.
They made this movie before they made the standalone movie that established who the fucking character
The
is.
after credit scenes of Captain Marvel, they shot before anything they actually shot in Captain Marvel.
What?
So she was standing like on like a tape mark, basically, and talking to the Avengers who weren't there.
Wow.
And was just kind of like,
Where's Fury?
very good job, Thor. And she was like, I don't know who I am yet. You know, like, it's just
My favorite part when me
yeah.
and Angie were on vacation in Virginia the other a couple weekends back, and she showed me some movie that like she really liked when she was in high school, and it had a teenage Brie Larson in it. Ange, what's the name of that movie? Remember the Days.
Oh,
It's some like stoner comedy, and it has a teenage.
that's a weird movie. That's like a real
It was a nothing movie. Nothing happened in it. But the point being, it had Brie Larson in it as a teenager, and she was a better actress in that movie than she was in Captain Marvel.
I remember like actress like Blair from like Gossip Girl is doing like mushrooms in that fucking movie or something.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Nothing happened. It was bad. But Brie Larson was great.
I also loved Captain Marvel, but I didn't know that they could do that CGI aging thing. So I was like, damn, Samuel L. Jackson looks really good.
yeah.
And then my friend was like, that was fucking CGI. That wasn't his face.
Yeah.
But
I
also-
know. That's terrifying.
Black don't-
Captain Marvel is
That's what I thought.
Captain Marvel is
It doesn't.
comedically not a part of this movie at all.
I
thought Captain Marvel was setting up for like, oh man, she's gonna be a fucking essential part of Endgame.
Yeah.
No.
And they're setting up something, and then she comes down and she's like, hey guys, how can I help? And then they kill Thanos.
She's
and
like,
then they're
"Bye."
like, damn it, we didn't
Gotta
solve we didn't solve anything. And then they're like, how can we fix this? And she's like, I don't know, but I gotta go.
Yeah.
And then she leaves for the rest of this movie until like 5 minutes
Yeah.
until the end.
I thought-
I would even be fine with that because
Okay.
that tracks to the sense of like she has really been more of a superhero for the universe rather than Earth itself.
Yeah, which
And-
tracks with Captain Marvel's character.
But she has to mean something when she comes back. She doesn't like she destroys the ship, but like
that's a callback. That's
she
a
has
callback
the
to Captain
same.
Marvel.
She just does the same exact thing that
Yeah,
she
it's a
does in
callback.
Captain Marvel.
It's a callback. But
Is it a callback, or is it just that the
But-
Russo brothers being like?
Is it a callback or is it a cop out?
Is it a callback, or is it the Russo brothers being like, geez, like, we're filming this before Captain Marvel is filmed. We have an advanced version of the script. She flies through spaceships. I don't know. Fuck, let's put that.
it
in
was
the
the one
script,
thing in this
you know,
movie where like everything else felt like my overall opinion of this movie is like I don't know if I'm positive or negative, but I think I like everything that happens in it. I just don't know if they executed it the best way. I feel like the Captain Marvel stuff reeks of like not being 10 years in the making. Like everything else feels like deserved and earned.
See, I thought...
And it feels like, oh God, like that's what needs to happen for these characters. With Captain Marvel, it just feels like, sure, the movie just came out, let's throw it in there.
I thought leading up to this movie that Captain Marvel was such a MacGuffin that when leading up to seeing it, I was telling everybody, I bet that Captain Marvel dies in the first 30 minutes. That was my hope, was that they were going to go to try to fight Thanos, and Captain Marvel was going to be like, don't worry, I got it. I'm the shit. Because that's
we got a Captain Marvel now. Everything's fine.
That's her character in Captain Marvel. She's such this like piece of shit.
Also,
like,
nobody in the Avengers cares about Captain Marvel.
Exactly,
like besides stories like, I like this one.
Yeah,
like, it's just kind of like
that was my hopes that she was gonna be like, I'll take Thanos by myself, and he would just pound her face in, and then she would be like in a coma until like the end of the movie. That was like my hopes. But I like what they did.
Avengers 5 coma.
Speaking of, the biggest surprise and strongest decision in this movie, I think, is within the first 15 minutes when they literally just is like, are we gonna do this? Yeah, we're gonna fucking do this.
And
like Captain America like says, yeah, of course we're gonna do this, and then they fly to the planet where Thanos is, and they fucking lop his head off.
Like so good. It's
such
good.
It's I think it's the highlight of the movie, and it's such a great way to kind of subvert expectations. I'm a little saddened that
the movie didn't end there.
Thanos. Well, no, I'm a little saddened that Thanos comes back in this. I'm a little saddened that Thanos comes back in this movie because it's kind of like, younger Thanos. Like I legit laughed out loud when what is it, Scarlet Witch was like, you took everything from me, and Thanos is like, I don't even know who you are. I don't know who you are. That was hilarious. I like laughed out loud. I was just like, what are the stakes in this movie? It was just like it. But honestly, it's the first time like a Marvel movie has surprised me. It just because. Like every other Marvel movie is like a comic book where it's just kind of
literally like the last thing I was expecting to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it was
that early in this movie.
It was like them realizing like
it was like
we're actually fucked because he destroyed everything and now there's no going back, and Thor was just like pissed and just killed him.
I did like the
Thor moment.
But that wasn't even their goal. They weren't going there and necessarily kill him. They wanted to maybe get the stones and maybe kill him.
Like the villain wasn't really Thanos. The villain was what Thanos did, and that was what they were fighting against. And I thought that's where the movie was going to go after that. Like, forget Thanos. We don't even need him. The whole villain is the consequences of Infinity War. Can they undo this like undoable thing?
Yes, exactly.
Why can Captain Marvel carry a spaceship back to Earth but can't punch Thanos without being defeated?
Thanos is a Celestial, so he's actually a Titan. So he is
because a lot of people thought his strength came from the Infinity Gauntlet, but he just literally is.
Yeah. With the Infinity Gauntlet, he reaches the tier of Celestial, which is the same tier as like Galactus and Death, and like so in the same way that the 6 Infinity Stones were made at the birth of the universe, also the Celestials were made, which is this race of like people that are like literal like universes.
Kevin, I have a question then.
Yeah.
One of my biggest gripes with this movie is I don't think the power of Thanos is ever established really in the Marvel universe.
It is in Infinity War.
Hold on.
On film.
When he beats the shit out of Hulk.
No. But hold on.
Yeah.
When we're on Thanos' home planet, we have maybe 4 or 5 Avengers who are about to kill Thanos, and it's only because of Star-Lord's like personal relationship that it's fucked up.
Yeah.
And then
he does have a few of the stones at that point.
But then all of a sudden, at the end of this movie, we have every Avenger possible fucking fighting him at once, and he has 0 stones, and he is able to fend himself off.
Does he have 0? How far back do they go? Does he have 0 literally?
He has 0. When
he's
stones
at the final fight.
Thor, Captain America.
I thought they went back to a point where he had a couple.
No, he didn't have any.
None.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that's... So it's established in Infinity War.
Because I also thought that was going to be a point where I was like, man, they're bringing Thanos, who has a couple of the stones, into a universe where they've already got all six.
No, he has not.
I thought it was going to be like Thanos has 10 stones now or
No.
something.
That would be fucking
He has
crazy.
0.
And Marvel would do
But
that.
they really are like using like this paradox of just.
but that's-
they really are just using this paradox of like baby like Adolf Hitler being born and like he's like a tiny baby and then like a big strong man's like, yeah, I'm about to beat the fucking shit out of you for what you do in the future, and just like pounding a baby in the face, like
Well,
kind of
say-
like
they say why
Thanos
they
is
can't
just
do
kind
that.
of like a same like.
No, they say why they can't do that. But it's established in Infinity War when the initial scene where Thanos is on the ship with Thor and Loki and what's his face? Idris Elba's character.
Right.
I forget his
Yes.
character's name because I can never pronounce it. And Loki's like, it doesn't matter, we have a Hulk, and Hulk goes to fight
But that's
Thanos.
one Avenger. That's one Avenger.
It's the Hulk though. Like that's the
But
thing.
that's
like
one
that's
Avenger.
But he's
no,
just
no.
strong.
That's
5 of
established.
them could have killed them.
No,
except
so
for
that's where Thanos is fighting. You're talking about the scene where Thanos by himself is fighting Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man at the
No,
same
he's
time.
talking about
Spider-Man.
Infinity War. He's talking about Infinity
When
War.
they're about to pull the glove
when the
off,
Guardians
but
are fighting
Star-Lord-
him. And,
Yeah, and at that
But
point
she,
he has 3 stones at
knocked
that
him out.
point.
right.
So
He
we're
has 4
talking-
stones at that point, I think.
Yeah, no, 3 stones. He
3
has the
stones?
Reality
Okay.
Stone, Space Stone,
Okay.
and Power Stone.
And they're about to defeat him.
well, he must have
but
the Soul Stone
Star-Lord-
because Star-Lord's mad at that point.
Yes, he does have
Yes,
Soul
yes,
Stone,
yes,
but
yes,
the Soul
that's
Stone
true,
doesn't
yeah.
really do anything.
Okay, yeah. Listen, this
It's a number 4. It's greater than 3.
You just have to die
Listen,
for it.
off mic we said we're not gonna like argue about anything stupid
But it's
because
happening
it's
because
gonna
we're
waste
drinking.
a lot of time. Okay, so just say it.
Yeah. Say what? No, yeah, I'm just saying it's established in the movie that Thanos by himself is a Titan, which is he's a Titan.
Do they say Titan? They have him defeat.
He's from
He's
the
strong
planet
purple
Titan.
guy.
He's from the planet Titan.
That's-
He is a Titan. He's a space Titan. His race were
That's
Titans.
established for fans who know what the
But-
fuck they're talking about.
but-
That's not established for the
It's
general movie-going audience.
It's established in the movie because in Infinity War he beats the shit out of the Hulk without even using
Okay,
the Power Stone.
that's-
But these
That's
are
one
superhero movies.
Avengers.
They bend the rules all the time. Like
That's-
someone
he
has
beats-
more
he
motivation than another
He beats
person.
the shit
so they
out
can,
of the Hulk without using the Power Stone.
Okay.
And then when he's fighting Captain Marvel, she almost beats him, but he pulls the Power Stone off and then punches her in the fucking face and knocks her the fuck out, which is fucking great.
Okay,
But Thanos by himself can easily deal with Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America because in his realm, those are just 3 dudes. Like, they're literally just like...
yeah, but he
Oh, I'm
couldn't
gonna
deal with 4 or 5 dudes on like.
The only reason
the-
that happened was because Manus was putting him to sleep. Like, if it was literally a strength contest, he was beating the shit out of them. And then they did their whole plan, and the only
She
reason
could
the plan-
barely keep him asleep too,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
she kept saying like, "Hurry."
And
he's strong."
Mantis was able to put a Celestial to sleep, which was Ego from Guardians of the Galaxy 2. So that's Ego is a Celestial. He's like consciousness in existence. Like he's like consciousness that was born out of the existence of the universe. That's what Ego is.
So let's not talk too much about this. Too.
Yeah, because the MCU gets really
I mean,
complicated.
honestly, that is still
So
surprising.
Thanos is really fucking strong.
He's-
All right,
yeah,
move on.
okay.
He
We get
is
it.
like
But-
he's a Titan, which is the empowerment of like existence.
It-
That's what Titans are.
but-
Also in Greek mythology, you have to think about it like that. Like the Titans are like
Mm-hmm.
raw existence.
But anyway, Thanos, I mean, after the snapshot is weak AF. He's gathering alien plantains.
he almost-
He's making soup.
He almost
he's,
fucked
he's
just
himself.
fucking Shrek with his
yeah,
candles.
he's fucking Shrek on a fucking planet by himself. They go there, they fucking chop.
He retreats to a swamp.
It's like the Avengers have read the fucking, you know.
Well, like,
they,
the reason-
they've read like the fucking forums. They're like, let's chop his arm off.
Yeah.
And then like,
Oh, that was
let's-
so good.
let's-
That was so good. They
It's
just chopped
beautiful.
his fucking head off.
It's great. And then they chop his fucking head off, and it kills him. And that's very surprising.
Yeah.
But I think one of the more surprising things in this film and in this entire fucking cinematic universe is the words 5 years later.
Yeah.
Because shit like that never happens in this movie.
Yeah,
it's
it's
kind of
so
like
good.
it's kind of like, oh, like Shield. Wait, was it Shield? Was it Shield that dies or whatever?
Yeah, Shield dies.
It's kind of like Shield dies.
The entire MCU has been so ADD. The fact that it's like, here's a time to breathe.
Right. It's kind of like Shield dies. It's kind of like, I don't know. In the next movie, that doesn't really matter. There's kind of just like, Samuel L. Jackson, who's just kind of like, I don't know. I gathered you all together. It's kind of like at the end of Homecoming, where it's kind of like Spider-Man, Peter Parker is like, I don't really want to be a part of the Avengers. And then the next movie is fucking Infinity War, and he's like, I gotta fight! It's kind of like, for the first time, people have to deal with consequences in this universe.
Yeah.
And the first third of this movie is just fucking sorrow, and it's sad, and it's a very slow-paced movie, and I think, like, I've never seen something like that from Marvel, and that's what I could, like, really hop on board with. I was like, okay, what are we doing here? Yeah,
I was really shocked to see that, like, card come up on the screen 5 years later.
I was like,
weird for any superhero.
I was like,
movie.
5 what? I was like, 5 days, 5 months. Oh God, 5 years.
Yeah. And they switch hairstyles for everybody.
Oh,
and
gosh.
can we talk about Fat Thor for a little bit?
Yes.
So, like,
I
thought it was gonna be just like a like they're gonna find Fat Thor and they're gonna be like, well, you're gonna come back to the Avengers training montage. He loses all the weight and then he's Thor again for the Avengers. I actually low-key really love the fact that they kept him as Fat Thor for the entirety of the movie,
amazing.
And then have established that he's going to join the Guardians of the Galaxy as Fat Thor. Because Fat
Thor was my favorite part of this movie.
He's one of the funniest parts of this movie.
Old Man Luke in The Last Jedi and Fat Thor in Avengers Endgames are my favorite cinematic characters.
Chris Hemsworth
ever.
is one of the funniest parts of this movie, and you would have never expected that watching like the first Thor movie. Like, because a lot of the comedy of the first Thor movie was generated out of Fish out of water. Yeah. Like, Thor being the straight man in a strange circumstance. And that's
they eventually found out that Chris Hemsworth is funny.
He's funnier than he is actually hot.
And it makes him even hotter.
Oh, yeah.
For one.
I'll fuck Fat Thor, Kevin. You bet your bottom dollar.
Bet your bottom dollar I'll bottom that Fat Thor.
Also, you weren't depressed at all about that? Like, that he was so distraught with the failure
I would
of not
stay with him
killing
through that.
Thanos.
I would be little
just like
Mitchski
an
or whatever his name
alcoholic.
is in Pizza with Fat Thor.
But it is sad, and it's also.
But it all happens over a week.
They have like a very like he who shall not be named kind of like relationship with
don't say Thanos
with Thanos kind of like thing too. And we talked about Kevin Feige off mic or whatever, the head of Marvel Studios, but he gave an interview literally right before this movie came out that alluded to like Marvel will start to introduce body positive superheroes, and he's like, and it's going to be sooner than you think.
and
he like winked, and then Fat Thor showed up on screen, and I was like, oh no!
I didn't even like it. I didn't even like it for that reason.
I was just
putting somebody in a
I thought it was hilarious.
It was
a visual
having everyone
gag.
make fun of him throughout the duration of the movie for being fat. That's not body positive.
I 1,000% like understand the backlash, but like also I don't know. It was
a hilarious visual gag. As someone who looks like Fat Thor.
He looked like fat bastard.
I'm allowed to laugh every time we like pan down. He's fucking like fat suit. It's hilarious to see in a superhero movie. It's subverting expectations in a certain way.
Yeah.
Also,
even if
funny.
it's a dude in a fat suit, that makes it even funnier because we expect Chris Hemsworth to be
They
this.
also have the technology. They made skinny Tony.
I love that he looked like the fucking dude from The Big Lebowski for the rest of the
And that
movie
they mentioned it.
And then they time traveled, and he still looked like the dude from The Big Lebowski. And his mom was like, "What's wrong with you? Like, what is going on?"
But when Tony Stark calls him the Big Lebowski, does he realize that The Big Lebowski was played by the antagonist in Iron Man 1.
That's too deep even for me, but yes, probably.
When Scott Lang references Hot Tub Time Machine, does he realize the antagonist in Hot Tub Time Machine looks a whole lot like the Winter Soldier? There's a lot of these in this
but
film.
maybe that's
I'll
why
keep
they
returning.
did it, because they don't take themselves seriously.
Yeah, right.
So
That
it's
was like
just funny.
leading up to the movie. There were so many trailers in this movie that had characters from the MCU that were snapped in the trailers, and was like, oh wait, are all these trailers fake? And these are all like different universes.
Because they have done
Characters
that
been
before. In the
snapped
Infinity
to.
War trailer, they had Hulk running as Hulk, and then in the movie, he can't actually get into Hulk, and he has to get in the Iron Man suit.
He's an
Like,
Iron
they've
Man
done
suit.
that before.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, are all these like fake trailers that all the characters have been snapped to, and they're gonna have to travel through multiple universes to get to them to retrieve them? But the movie
Oh,
wasn't
because
that
we
deep.
didn't technically know where they went.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was.
I
that
just
was
assumed they were just dead.
So-
like, gone.
real quick. Dude, what
Erased.
was everyone's expectation of what Endgame was going to be? Because my expectation going into it was I thought that it was going to tie in the multiple universes, so that all the characters that had been snapped had been transported to alternate universes. Like they hadn't, you can't destroy matter or anything like that. So the only way that the snap would actually work feasibly would be if all those people were transported to alternate realities. So like,
I mean,
the new
instead
Spider-Man.
of-
So the new Spider-Man movie that was coming out, I thought was like an alternate universe that Tom Holland had been transported to, and they were gonna travel through the quantum realm.
Did
Instead of
anybody else laugh so hard in the movie when they like were all brought back, and then we had like the in the future scenes, and we saw that like it's still 5 years later, but he's still in high school with his friend.
Yeah,
But so,
Oh man,
because all of that apparently died.
if they don't have a gag,
Wait.
if they don't have a gag in the new Spider-Man,
If they're not
movie-
called like super seniors or
oh
something.
no, if they don't have a gag in the new Spider-Man movie where like half of his classmates are like
7 years.
or like already
I guess
graduated of college,
Yeah, are
it's-
like
it's-
22.
Yeah, like I think that will be fucking lame.
someone,
I think
I
that'll
had the
happen.
same issue, and we talked about it briefly when we were talking the other day, but then I said it to somebody who was like, well, their perspective was that when the snap happened, everything just kind of stopped. Like people
Yeah.
stopped
But
going
his
to
friend
school.
is still there. And did they have a scene?
That's-
But maybe they,
so
like,
him-
reopen the
They both
school.
got snapped.
when everyone comes back.
I think
Yeah.
conveniently
They both got
all
But then they can't have anybody from the other.
no,
Well,
Or did
Spider-
they all conveniently
Spi-
get
yes,
snapped?
that's what I think it is. I think
Zendaya is in the
every-
new movie, so
every single main character,
Even Martin
Spider-Man,
Starr, the teacher,
yes,
got
yes.
snapped.
I think every single main character of Spider-Man: Homecoming was
Got
snapped.
snapped.
Even
Yeah.
the
Five
Aunt
years
May?
off.
Very convenient.
Did Aunt May
But
get
also,
snapped?
like statistically, that's fine. Like
Is it?
50,
it is.
50%.
They're-
I think
there's-
I mean,
if I were to-
it is a 50-50 chance.
if
Yeah,
I were to
and there
kill
are, what,
50%
five-
of your friends,
I forget what the actual statistic is because I always look at climate change statistics, but I feel like there are between 4 and 7 billion people in the world. So 5
I
people,
think it's 3.3. Yeah.
it's more than that. But
but still,
definitely
it
like
seems,
5 people getting snapped
I mean,
out of the population of New York,
I mean,
which
like,
is
half the Avengers got
35 million
snapped, though.
people.
It seemed like
more than half. More
But
than
wait,
half.
more
then,
than half, yeah.
so you're saying that the snapped people, just because no time has passed for them, which how do they reunite when they didn't even know they went away?
Yeah.
Like, how is there an emotional reunion if you don't think anything happened? But
exactly.
anyway,
There would be
Yeah.
nothing for them.
It would just-
be weird for everyone around.
Yeah.
them. Like if Aunt May didn't get snapped.
she'd be
but
like
Tom
hugging
Holland-
him and he'd be like,
Yeah.
what? I saw
Yeah,
you
did it.
yesterday or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
But I guess forget that.
That's the same thing when the fight's going on. Like Tom Holland shows up and Iron Man's like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, this is so emotional," and Tom Holland is just like, "Yo, it's crazy. Like
I
it's
passed
been
out.
it's
yeah.
been 15 minutes."
Yeah.
right. That's
That was
something.
sad.
That's something that's
And
gonna
Tony
be.
Stark actually like grabs him and like
Wait,
hugs him.
but so you
know?
think that school kept going with all the non-snap people, and the snap people just show up where they left
Yeah.
off?
Yeah.
So the teacher's just like, "I'm back, bitch. Whoever,
Unless
whoever
they-
filled my position, you gotta get out of here."
I'm the way that I'm thinking it will work in Spider-Man: Homecoming or Home Away or whatever the fuck
Yeah.
it's called.
Home away.
is
Home Away from Home.
Home
Jake
Away from Home.
Gyllenhaal.
Far From Home.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Spider-Man 18.
Why is it not Spider-Man Abroad
Real
or
World
something
versus
like
Road
Semester
Rules
Abroad?
Challenge 2.0.
Spider-Man road trip.
Spider-Man Road Trip.
Spider-Man.
Sorry, but
Road Trip.
The way it'll work is that, yes, every single character in that movie got snapped. And they're just
But
going
what
to
is
say
it?
that.
It
The
It
math-
seemed
the
like
math
Ned
teacher-
did not get snapped because Ned was emotional about seeing Peter Parker.
Who?
Ned, isn't that his friend?
They reunite. At
No.
the high school.
They both definitely got snapped.
But then
Then
why
why
is
is
it
he
like,
happy about
oh,
seeing-
like I'm so happy to see you, just because I
know
heard about it?
Yeah, they know
They
at
don't
that
have that
point that they
complaint, yeah.
Well,
died.
and Peter Parker did fight in that huge battle, so
And
maybe
also,
he
like,
could
But
have
they
died.
don't. They don't film that with.
But like real quick,
They definitely film that with the intention of you thinking.
no,
Not about the 5-year difference, but
No.
about the fact that Ned
I had
was
a-
there and Spider-Man got snapped because
I-
we saw him got snapped and they're getting
No.
reunited.
I had
That's
a best
definitely
friend.
the intention that they filmed that scene with.
No. I had a best friend in high school who, if I didn't see him for 5
15
minutes,
minutes.
I would feel that way. Like that, and that is their friendship. They hung out and they were like, "Yo, we're gonna build the Death
I
Star
think
out of
it's-
Legos." That was my best friend in high school. and
I
they would
think
be
it's a
that way.
worldwide phenomenon or whatever. What I have questions about is like the next Black Panther, like kind of like a lot of them didn't get like snapped or whatever. Are they going to do 5-year makeup on them? I think I'm also
Shiri or
right. No, I'm also questioning how they're going to approach this in the next Spider-Man
Well, real
movie,
quick.
just because this is about to happen. But like, let's
talk about Avengers.
We don't.
let's keep talking about this movie.
But real quick,
Kevin, I don't wanna-
no. I gotta say something. I gotta say
Hold
something.
hands with
I
me.
gotta-
I don't want to go. Mr. Stark. I feel really
I need
weird.
the demon to get out of me. I need the demon. Black don't crack, so we don't have to worry about that.
What? Okay.
5 years ain't nothing.
Okay. So
I'm gonna cut those 2 minutes out of the
explain.
podcast.
Explaining
Final episodes. Who cares?
So I mean, let's cut to like basically Act 2 of this movie, where like
So Thanos got his head chopped off.
Jesus,
Act
Kevin. Explaining time travel.
Sad Avengers.
Yes.
Captain America's leading a group therapy group.
Yo, that was so good.
I did like that. I just
love
wish
Captain America
I just
so
wish they
much.
straight up said it rather than just give us one line acknowledging that he transitioned into group therapy somehow.
Yeah, like he went to therapy
Yeah.
or something. Yeah,
I honestly, when
It was too much of a jump to be just like, oh, he went from fighting crime to
it was just so
now
good.
he's a group
That
therapy.
was so good.
When
Like,
I
Captain
first-
America in the MCU is so amazing. Like the fact that he's such a goody two shoes. Like I was rewatching all these movies, and in Avengers 2, there's one point that I think like Tony Stark or somebody curses in like the opening scene, and Captain America just goes language, and
then in this movie he's
Yeah.
like, "That's America's ass." Yeah, it was just
No,
like,
like, he's-
"Oh man, you've grown."
he's grown so much. Like
Yeah.
that
has.
scene where he's fighting himself.
Right, yeah.
I
is
liked that.
amazing.
Yeah, and
He's
he's
just
like,
like Bucky's alive.
he's like, "I could do this all day." That's
Yeah,
that's
I
one of
know.
the catchphrase.
All right,
yeah.
so what I liked about
We're skipping everywhere, yeah.
Infinity War so much was that I thought it was entertaining and funny for the most part, while dealing with some like pretty
Heavy
heavy
shit.
topics.
Yeah.
Like I thought they had.
I don't think it had reason to be heavy yet, though.
It did. That's the thing.
Well, I mean,
went
it was-
full. It went. Infinity War went full.
It got heavy at the
comic
end,
book.
obviously.
Yeah,
but
and
it was
definitely.
still. I mean, I think we felt the weight of what we were dealing with. Like
Yeah.
I didn't feel like, oh, this is just them fighting another big blue whatever
Fucking
in the
Loki.
sky.
Loki gets
Whether it was the
choked to
marketing or
death
the
in
movie
the middle of the
itself,
movie.
I fully got the weight of they're dealing with someone who's going to snap half of existence. Out
Yeah.
of
Oh, right.
existence.
He was definitely going to do it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought they did some great stuff in Infinity War. Forever one of my favorite scenes in Infinity War is like whatever his face is, Star-Lord trying to shoot Gamora and
the bubbles come
it
out.
turns into like because
Yeah.
that fully for me got across the message of like the Infinity Gauntlet is just whatever you want to happen happens.
Yeah.
Reality is at your
Nothing.
making. I was actually
And they
mad that they
literally-
didn't do more of that I wanted shit to get real weird in this. Like
Yeah.
now that all 6 stones are on an Infinity Gauntlet and that exists.
Well, that's
There should have been more weird
Well,
shit
that's the
going
thing
on.
is there's so many. Even Thanos using it like almost killed him.
Mm-hmm.
So every time you use the Infinity Gauntlet, so it's one of those. It's Pandora's box. Like it's It's the ability to change anything in the
So
universe.
you just make a wish in your head and it comes true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I always thought the snap didn't even matter. You didn't have to snap. Snap was just
it's not.
a representation of me, whatever I want to happen.
It is
like that.
the limitation of reality.
I actually kind of hated the fact that they snapped in the...
Yeah, they have to do that because if you were, it's the same deal as when you're a kid and you're trying to wish on a birthday cake. Like, it's not actually going to come true, where if you actually had the ability to do it, you would need to do something tangible. Mm-hmm. So it's all that, like when Hulk puts a gauntlet on, he's fucking dying and he's like, okay, all these thoughts in my head, they're going on. I just need to get them out. That ends it.
I do like that scene though. The
whole
scene that you just
I
referred to, where
Smart Hulk.
we're just no. I'm talking about the scene where there is that kind of group therapy, and then Joe Russo, one of the directors.
I love that the Russo
That was
were
one
in
of them.
Yes,
Yeah,
that was one of them, and they are the first openly gay character in the MCU.
Is Joe Russo gay?
No.
The character is, because he talks about...
That character is.
That's
Going on a date with a man.
That's
People
lame.
ripped that apart.
Well,
That's
yeah,
lame.
a lot of the shit that the
On
MCU
Twitter.
does is
Bring in
lame.
one
We've
of the
had 20
Wachowski-
movies with zero.
Bring in one of the Wachowskis if you want. Bring in some gay
I
shit.
mean, also, like, one of my favorite... I mean, my theater went fucking nuts when... this is probably the biggest reaction of my theater, is when Captain America is in the elevator and you're expecting like a big fight or whatever, and then
with all the Hydra people.
Yeah, and then he goes up to the guy and he goes like, "Hail Hydra," and then like, but like that's a reaction.
I actually someone who doesn't give a shit about Captain America.
Right.
I felt like they filmed it in a way that I got the weight of Captain America saying "Hail Hydra,"
It's more
being a big deal.
That shows how much he's changed, because in not Civil War, Winter Soldier, he was in that same situation. He was like, "You guys want to do this the easy way or the hard way?" and like beat the shit out of all of them. And that's what I was expecting.
Right.
But it's been
He's
5
grown
years
since then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been 5 years. He's just like, I don't have fucking time for this shit.
Yeah.
And also, we're time traveling. Who cares?
Right,
Like,
and-
I just need to get this shit.
But that reference is, for those who don't know, there was an outrage when Marvel released a comic. I think it was called like Captain America, like Steve Rogers, and at the end of the first issue,
Where he was bad.
he does
It
something.
ended up that he was being a Hydra agent the whole time.
Yeah, he does something sinister in the last panel.
Yeah.
Is
There
him
was
him overlooking something, and he says, "Hail Hydra."
Yeah,
and it was a gigantic controversy.
There was this
And
whole
I think
run.
I think one of my favorite tweets is from like when all of this was happening and there was such outrage about it, and it was just like Marvel. It was just kind of, somebody tweeted this and it was like Marvel : like Captain America isn't gay with Bucky. That's completely out of character. And then it said also Marvel : like Captain America is a Nazi. Like, it was just like, it's such a ridiculous thing, but it was something to touch on.
There was
like,
this
in the
whole
culture.
there was this whole run of Captain America where, and this was kind of a nod to it, where like, so there's this whole
But that's why
series,
everyone laughed.
There's
Yeah.
this whole series of Marvel influence products called the What If series, and it ties into the creation of the multiverse of Marvel based on string theory. So all of the What If series is what if this happened, what if that happened, and actually creates multiple universes. So this is where all the Disney XD and Phase 4 of the Marvel universe is going to
Disney XD?
Yeah, Disney XD.
It's a channel.
Yeah, Disney XD and the Marvel Universe tie-ins of what the What If series is going to be. So the What If series is all these events that happened throughout the time traveling.
As a result of that.
Yeah, so the Loki series that we're going to get is based off of when Loki picked up
Yes,
the Space Stone
I knew,
and disappeared.
yeah. I saw
So-
that and I'm like, that's going to pop up somewhere.
Yeah, that's...
Is Tom Hiddleston
Yeah,
going to be
yeah,
on this show?
yeah.
On Disney XD?
Yeah,
That's so
on the
interesting
Disney
to
streaming
me.
service. He's going to be doing it, and it's
That's
going to be
funny.
the What If series. And every single point that they traveled back in time is going to create a What If timeline, and then they're going to just go with it because that's what the What If series is.
It's
They're
too
like,
much.
Yeah,
That makes
it's a
me
lot.
mad.
That's what comics are.
We're going
though.
too far down the rabbit
But this should
hole.
be the end.
No,
Let's continue.
That's
Start something new.
But that's
Yeah, we got limited time.
So
we got limited time to talk about the
I'm
movie
just
that
saying.
we're reviewing.
I'm just saying. There's a whole What If series of Captain America being
My whole
Hydra
point
agent.
that I started a while ago is that I thought Avengers Infinity War had a lot of great comic relief despite some heavy subject material. This, I feel like I like all the actual moments that happen. I like all the big plot points that take place in this. I feel like every time they tried to be funny in this movie, it fell flat on its face, and it made for a much less entertaining movie than Infinity War.
I
think Infinity War is
I didn't think this movie was funny
in
at all.
entertainment value.
I don't really remember a point in this movie where I laughed at all.
But I think I need that from a
Thor,
superhero movie. That's why I feel like a lot of the Marvel movies have gotten better as they've gone on.
Mike, you like Batman versus Superman, so I'm gonna shut you down right there.
Well, no. Honestly, I think Marvel has spent a lot of the MCU undercutting a very serious moment with a very like slapsticky like kind of response. It doesn't trust itself. I honestly thought that was a lot of Infinity War was just kind of like serious moment. Well, Thor, like you should wear thicker underwear. Like it was just kind of like.
But
okay,
in Infinity War,
like,
I think those all felt true to the characters that were in Infinity War. I think the problem is that they snapped all of them away in Infinity War. And now in this one, we've got Captain America, who is funny when he's played against other people,
and himself.
Iron Man, who is sort of funny, but it's kind of old after 10 years now.
Ant-Man is funny.
I don't think he can really carry this movie as the only comedic character.
We need
Paul
Chris
Rudd
Pratt
playing Paul Rudd is the best.
He is
Fat Thor is the only funny character,
and I will give him thumbs up all the way.
I'm totally fine with this movie not being that funny because this movie is.
Were you entertained fully though, or
1,000%?
Because that's where I felt like I left off.
Well, I think this is like HBO's The Leftovers.
For a
like,
3-hour movie, I need a lot more comic relief.
Honestly,
hang on.
Honestly,
Mike,
let's
at which point were you not entertained? Like, where did you start to fall off?
Again, whenever a big moment would happen, like thopping off Thanos' head, I'm like, yeah, I'm on board for this from a screenwriting perspective.
Yeah.
Or like then
so where did you start to like check out?
In between all these big moments.
Okay,
like there was nothing entertaining.
When they're at the diner and the kids want the
let's-
picture with Hulk, but they don't know
I actually
Ant-Man.
low-key really do not like this Hulk at all.
I hate that
You
Hulk.
didn't
I
like
hate
Smart.
it.
I like Mark
No.
Ruffalo.
It creeped me the fuck
Professor is a character from comics.
I wanted just
And
one.
it's
And
a
the
gray
professor-
Hulk or something?
No,
or Salt and Pepper Hulk,
it's
or...
just the Professor. It's a different Hulk.
mixture.
There's 3 Hulks.
This was one of the spoilers, and I was 100% on board with this because I thought this was very comic-y.
Yeah,
Like
there's
I did not
three.
like this.
There's 3 Hulks that exist. There's the
But
Professor.
But that
There's
scene
Hulk,
was funny.
and then
is what I'm
there's.
saying.
But let's
I didn't think so.
Kevin,
That's where I was cringing. That's where I was like, they're
I
trying to
don't
make
wanna
jokes and they're falling on their face.
Here's the thing. I don't want to go too far into comic stuff. I just purely want to go.
That's what I wonder.
I purely want to go into just what is presented within this universe or whatever. And I think the next thing we need to talk about is we've talked about like kind of Act 1, which is very like grief. Let's talk about Act 2, which is just like
Act 2 is
time heist,
straight up fun,
which is
humor
great.
or not. And I do think some of the best humor happens in Act 2, and I think that's why it works.
Even leading up to that, I want to talk about something that we talked about early on. Is Endgame is going to surpass Infinity War in sales. What do you think it's like for somebody possibly that has never seen a Marvel movie, never read a Marvel comic book, that has just seen this movie because it's popular? Like, does this movie... I love this movie so much.
I can tell you because I sat next to a woman who fucking said very loudly, like, who is that? What's happening right now?
We also sat next to...
Who is that? What's happening right now? I wanted to give this fucking woman a lobotomy.
There's
that's
that.
how much I don't like
There's
this
that,
one.
and then we sat next to a mother and her daughter who the mother had very obviously never seen anything to do with the Marvel Universe.
Yeah.
The daughter had very obviously seen everything, and the mother was just kind of following the cues from the daughter, where whenever the daughter would get like excited about something, the mother would be like, oh yes, like this is supposed to be a good moment. It was the cutest, most adorable fucking thing in the universe.
Yeah.
That's how you enjoy a movie that
That's
you've never
like
seen before.
I want to take
through the enjoyment of someone you care about.
This middle-aged woman should have ruined this movie, but I think this movie is such a weird cinematic achievement.
But that's what I'm wondering. Is this movie only
Does
good?
it matter to anyone who hasn't?
Yeah. Is this movie only good
I think
if you've
the
seen
MCU is so big that it's hard to find that sample size.
Honestly, I think somebody is okay if they see this movie as long as they see Infinity War.
But that's what
this is like Deathly Hallows Part 2.
And I feel like you need to see the end credit scene of Captain Marvel, because they
really
totally
weird.
skipped over that. If you didn't see Captain Marvel and see her actually getting there and them like
because they don't even call her
charging the
Captain
battery.
Marvel.
Yeah, she's just all of a sudden she's there. And before you asked, what did you expect from this movie? I expected Captain Marvel to be this missing piece of the puzzle that saved the entire world. Didn't happen at all, and halfway through I was like, where the fuck did Captain Marvel go?
Where's Carol?
She helped. Nothing.
She helped.
She has comically nothing to do with this movie.
Honestly,
I thought it was going to be all about her.
In the end fight, she really, really matters.
Does she?
Well, she does come through and like.
She matters logically. She doesn't matter emotionally.
She kept Thanos from snapping. She kept Thanos from snapping.
From a screenwriting point of view, I think she's like really just like they had no idea what to do with her.
Well,
so she was like. She was just kind of like, well, I got 1,000 other planets to care for.
So,
and it's just kind of like,
it did feel like we need a woman.
It was kind of like, listen, like on this planet, these are the people who are trying to reverse what's happening on those planets.
But that's the thing. That's Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is...
See, I didn't get that from the Captain Marvel movie, though.
I know. So
but
Captain
don't
Marvel,
talk about comics.
Because
I don't fucking care about that shit.
Captain Marvel
is... This is a whole different universe.
Captain Marvel is the Green Lantern Corps of the Marvel Universe. So the Green Lantern Corps in the DC universe.
Don't care. Kevin,
don't care.
Let's talk about
answer a question? Sorry, Joe asked about people seeing it who knew nothing and people who have been like with it from the beginning. And I obviously am a newer fan. I just am overly emotionally involved in things, so I cared. But for instance, somebody as like my boyfriend who grew up on the comics, and that's all I'll say about that, but he then watched all the movies as such a fan of the comics. For him, this movie was literally a part of his life ending. Yeah. Like he was he had butterflies the days leading up to going, because he was like, what if I don't like it? Like this, he's like, and then it's going to be over. What do I do when it's over? There's no other. He's like, I know they're making other movies, but it's not the same. Like this is the culmination.
The MCU was like,
this is like his childhood ending.
The MCU started out basically hand in hand with like the Ultimate Universe in the comics, and it was like honestly perfect. Like it matched up like perfectly, but then you got deeper into the Ultimate Universe and it became its own thing. In the MCU, like you have the original universe, the Ultimate Universe, which is in the comics, and then the MCU, and they're all their own thing. And honestly, like they're perfect. Like I'm very excited to see what they're going to do in Phase 4, because while the MCU also became popular, comics have kind of bled into that, where the comics are kind of copying what the cinematic universe is doing, because the cinematic universe is popular and they're trying to get more readers.
He says it stays pretty true to the comics.
Yeah,
and
so for the comics are like 10 years old now.
But it stays very true to the Ultimate Universe.
He read them when he was like young.
Because the
20, 30 years.
One of the key characteristics is in the Ultimate Universe, Samuel L. Jackson is Nick Fury in the Ultimate Universe before Iron Man 1 came out. Like, that was just the thing. They were like, who's the most badass person we can make Nick Fury? We'll make him Samuel L. Jackson. And they just, like, put that in the comics. And, like, basically everything up until Civil War was true to the Ultimate Universe as far as comics go. And then Civil War, they kind of did their own thing, because also the Skrull invasion in Captain America. So Civil War in the comics was that every single bad person that existed in Civil War turned out to be a Skrull. In the Skrull invasion in Captain Marvel.
Oh, the whole Skrull thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
So that was like a whole thing in the comics was like, oh wait, all these people that were bad during Civil War were Skrulls. So that was like kind of a MacGuffin that they took out.
The point I'm just trying to make is I think anyone could enjoy the movie.
Kevin's still talking.
anyone could like the movie, but I think it meant a lot more to people who have followed the story for a very long time.
Yeah.
And
especially in
and
the
have
comics.
waited, because with every like reveal in those end credit scenes, like Ryan always says that when like they first showed Thanos like turn
my
around,
God.
that
Yeah,
people
it was
like
so
lost
good.
their shit
It
because
was
they
so
knew what
good.
was coming.
Yeah.
So I think it's more important if you've been more invested.
When they uncovered that like the Infinity Stones were like a part of this universe, it was like mind blowing. And then just all the lead ups up to that and understanding that Infinity Gauntlet is the thing and Thanos is going to be a part of that. It was amazing. And where they're going to go next with this, like obviously Galactus is going to be a thing.
But let's
talk about the movie itself.
Let's get
Limited
back
time.
on track.
It's almost 7 o'clock.
Yeah. We've been,
no.
like we could do like a 6-hour podcast, but it's just
Okay.
It's impossible.
You
Okay,
throw a
so we
scene
talked
at
about
us,
Act
we'll
1.
talk
We've
about it.
Yes.
sort of touched on Act 2.
We're just getting into Act 2. So time travel.
We
It's
have
also,
limited time.
yes, right? Yeah.
Let's time travel.
Overall thoughts about Act 2. Obviously the best part of the movie, I think.
I disagree
Right?
completely.
Disagree.
That's
Really?
when I went to the bathroom.
See, that's what I
Yikes!
thought-
I thought it could have been
What a
better.
weirdo!
I really liked it, but I thought it could have been better. I thought
that was when the movie was firing on all cylinders.
I loved that the time travel aspect was a clip show of the past 10 years.
That was cool.
That was
I
my
like that.
favorite. I turned to Andrew when we were watching it. I was like, oh shit, they're gonna do a clip show. They're gonna do like a greatest hits
And they
showing.
did. They
yeah,
did.
Yeah.
But they did
I mean-
it in a kind of ingenious way that worked with the plot, in service of
Right.
the
Yeah.
plot, without being
I
like,
wish
oh,
they,
then this character
I wish
showed
they
up
had done
and-
more.
And
also,
they created moments that felt important for most of the characters.
Yeah.
Like Tony Stark getting to talk to his dad. That's been a part of Tony Stark's character since Iron Man 1, before we even thought there was going to be a
I
Marvel
wish they,
Cinematic
I wish,
Universe.
I wish
That's
they
one
had
of my
gone
favorite-
back.
yeah.
I wish they had gone back to Captain America 1. When they were like, "Oh shit, when's the Tesseract
I don't know.
a thing again?" But it doesn't make sense because
Kevin,
they needed the Hank Pym, they needed the Pym particles.
I think
it was great. It was awesome. But I'm just saying, I wish they had gone back and
right.
done something with Red Skull and maybe Tony Stark got.
Red Skull's already in it. I mean,
Yeah.
we have the Soul Stones thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
I
kind
just
of
wish
like
they had changed that up.
I think they're playing the hits. I think they're doing like Avengers 1 New York. I think they're doing like
Thor 2, which I happened to watch before seeing this movie, which is great.
I think they're doing Guardians of the Galaxy 1,
Which is great.
The
Yeah.
opening. But then, it really kind of throws a curveball when they do the Thor Dark World. Like that.
I watched
different.
Thor. I watched Thor: Dark
Right.
World before this movie came out, and I was so happy I did because I forgot that his mom died during that movie.
Right.
I
And
forgot
honestly,
that movie completely.
She has more lines in this than she did in the original movie. She has more lines in this than Black Panther does. It's
God.
just it's just.
I thought it was ridiculous that he was the first one that came through.
Wakanda forever.
Oh my god! Like
I thought that was like an obvious nod to like, this did a lot of money. We got to put Black Panther through first.
My theater, who was just ready to cheer at anything, dead silent when Black Panther was the first person who came through, and when he was doing like the chants with his army, like everyone was like,
My theater was going apeshit, and then when Captain America was like, Avengers reassemble or whatever.
Wait.
it was.
Avengers Assemble.
Can we talk about that for a minute?
Gigantic.
Were you
Yeah.
disappointed with the way he delivered that line?
No,
it was a little weak.
Ryan
weak.
was distraught.
The only disappointment that I had during this entire movie was when Robert Downey Jr. went, "I am Iron Man," and I was just like, "That's fucking stupid."
I kind of like that.
I liked that.
I didn't like it at all.
That's how the franchise started.
I know, but I just didn't like it.
Why not?
I just didn't. I would have
What
loved
would
it
you
if Robert
have
Downey
liked?
Jr.
Why
was
would
like,
Captain America...
It felt less
I'm-
cheesy than Avengers Assemble. Avengers Assemble felt
It was like Avengers, and
it felt like a
all the
callback
nerds
to a
are about
comic
to
book.
like jizz their pants, waiting for this moment. They
I
waited
did.
for
I
it
liked
forever.
Avengers Assemble.
But then he
Couple
just
of-
goes, assemble. You're fighting for your fucking life. You assemble like nothing. You're just like
Yeah, I can
assemble. I'm
understand
so
that.
cool
Right, yeah.
because I'm Captain America.
I was still so horny from when Captain America had picked up Mjolnir.
So horny about America's
Oh
ass.
yeah,
when
my theater lost their minds when the hammer went to Captain.
I do not care, but I think they made a genuine moment out of that. Where someone like I don't even fully understand the weight of that moment. Whatever they did in the filming, the cinematography, I fucking got it. I didn't even have that loud of a theater.
It's the
Captain America getting the hammer. It's cool for me. I don't care.
Best fighting combo that has ever existed in I play fighting games. I've never pulled off anything that cool where he just fucking owns Thanos for 30 seconds. I was just for one, Steve Rogers picking up Mjolnir, and then
it's almost like a comedic moment too. Thor being like, "Oh, I always knew."
I thought it was gonna be Vision for one, but then the fact that it's Captain America and he just owns Thanos for 30 to 45 seconds of just nonstop combo, a fucking 36 hit combo, just nonstop S plus
And,
rank.
I mean, this pays off a lot of what happens in Age of Ultron.
Isn't there a party scene? They're all trying to pick it up.
Yes, they're all trying to pick it up, and then Steve Rogers, it's kind of it implies was he kind of just trying to let Thor have his moment of just kind of
he wasn't worthy yet. That's the whole
right.
thing.
No.
Steve Rogers
also
has evolved
right.
so much at this point.
Right.
Although that's kind of weird because he's always been a perfect goody two shoes.
No,
so he should
that's the whole thing. Being a
he's
perfect
very
goody two shoes, doesn't make you worthy.
He's very different from when he fights himself from first Avengers in New York, where he's the original Captain America goes, I could do this all day, and he's like, fuck. He's like,
that is honestly the funniest part of this.
I know.
It's
I know.
That's
so funny because this new Captain America has spent 2-3 years on the outskirts, just being this person who's just completely different in everything.
Yeah.
And then I think that's why he's able to pick up the hammer is because he's spent so much time.
So
He's finally a little jaded.
Not to shit on baby boomers and the greatest generation, but those motherfuckers in World War II that were racist as fuck weren't worthy. So when he was in Captain America, the first Avenger, and Winter Soldier, he was still that person that was
so Captain America 1 was a racist.
he was this person that was not worthy of celestial powers, which is what Mjolnir is and what Thor is. When Thor shows up in Thor 1 and he's not worthy, he's a fucking piece of shit. And by the end of it, he's oh wait, Earthlings are worth something, the universe is worth something, I'm a better person. And in Thor 2, he's ready to kill himself to keep the reality stone from demonizing the entire world. There's something to being this actually good person that Captain America in Captain America 1 2 isn't. And what gets him into trouble, and in Civil War he becomes where he's maybe the other side has something to say. Maybe I shouldn't just kill Bucky. He's my friend. He's had this fucked up life. And Iron Man falls prone to in being no, he killed my mom and dad, when he was mind controlled and
Right.
Hubris.
Right.
Limited time. Let's talk about the greatest hits of this movie.
I mean, yeah.
Let's talk about Girl Squad.
Girl Squad.
Jeez. I mean, I'm still in Act 2. I mean, I think.
Act 2,
I mean, I just want to speed through this before Kevin tries to explain a former comic. But explaining time travel in this movie is pretty great.
Before Kevin tries
God damn it! No,
explain everything. Kevin explaining everything.
Before Corona Extra tries to explain everything.
Wait, there's still some in there. No, that's fine.
Okay, but honestly, in the Act 2, explaining time travel in this movie is pretty great. Again, I think
it's a looper.
Yeah, right. No,
Aesthetic.
they tried to, Scott Lang is he tries to reference all these movies like Back to the Future 2 and Hot Tub Time Machine and yada yada yada, and they give these kind of like equally silly rules, and then they explain a few different times, but basically like if you go back in time, your future
your past.
Yeah, your future is your past or whatever. And then Tilda Swinton does a pretty good job too, because she has like this kind of like visual cue, and if you change something in your past, it doesn't affect you, it just creates like a new timeline. I like that.
Yeah.
Like I can get on board with that. And then, Act 2 is like this kind of like Back to the Future 2 homage. Surprisingly, they don't really use that much old footage. They kind of reshoot a lot.
Yeah, they add some new jokes to some of the older movies too.
We kind of get to see between like two sines of like what's
it kind of
happening.
feels like a Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
That's exactly what I have in my notes. It's the Rosencrantz and Guildenstern of Avengers.
Yeah,
like it's
what happens when they're like not on camera.
It's so
in those movies.
I'll fucking come for some meta shit, but wow, that got really weird and graphic. Hi, I've had a lot of beer and maybe a lot of wine, but no, I mean,
Didn't think we'd get into a Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Oh no,
reference
but exactly,
Avengers Endgame movie.
It's like I said at the beginning, where it's kind of like in Jurassic Park, where it's like they spare no expense. They got Robert Redford back on this bitch. It's kind of like it's.
Yeah, they could have easily shot around that. Like,
right.
we don't need
How
to
much
see.
do you think they had to pay him for that?
I don't know.
They talked about it in the Red Letter Media review about how
It's
they made the
fucking-
big deal about the Old Man and the Gun being his last movie, and then it's like, oh, well, he's gonna be in Avengers Endgame for like 30 seconds.
Right? Yeah. It's very.
Well, they might have shot it before that.
Yeah.
But just the release schedule and the promotion is weird.
I really liked
Infinity
when they
War, Infinity fucking budget. Yeah.
I really liked when they had those important moments where, like you said before, Tony gets to actually talk to his dad for another time, and like about parenting. I don't know, I thought that was like heartwarming. I liked it.
It was. And like someone who does not give a shit about Captain America, to jump like way ahead, like to the very ending of this movie, him getting to dance with like Peggy Carter and going back in like that timeline actually made me a little emotional. And I do not like any.
I liked
Captain
that
America
his story
movies.
ended that way, because I thought he was just going to die in this movie and that was going to be it. But I like that he got to go and live the life he always wanted to live, except for this life that was kind of chosen for him.
Yeah.
I thought that was nice.
Girl Squad.
So you didn't like it?
No.
I thought it was fun.
See, here's the thing. I'm all for these moments when they're naturally built up. Like, I thought Captain Marvel, in and of itself, like the whole montage at the end of like Captain Marvel and the climax of that, felt like it worked. It felt like it was earned, and I felt like, fuck yeah, like girl power. Like, I'm all for this. Fuck all that shit before.
Oh, like
that.
her whole life, she was always being knocked down, and then
And it made sense for the movie, and they earned it in the movie. This, it felt like a bunch of like CEOs in a room being like, feminism's really hot right now. Let's give them 10 seconds of this movie, and it won't even fucking matter. Like, honestly, it felt like they could have thrown it in after they filmed this movie. After like test screening had been like, well, there weren't enough scenes with the girls, so let's throw a bunch of like girl power scenes there, because it didn't even matter. They all got together, and then they all just kind of like got clobbered.
That's like where
that would have been cool if that was like, oh, that's what kills Thanos.
But that's
like it needed to mean more, or don't fucking bother. It's
white
just a
men would have
meaningless
flipped
gesture.
out if that's what
it's a
killed
build up
Thanos.
to what Phase 4 of the MCU is going to be. Thor is going to be a black woman. Like Iron Man is going to be like Iron Man.
Why did it take them this long to get there?
No, because this was
I
planned out since fucking 2012
I don't think so.
or whatever.
I don't think so.
And where, like,
I mean,
Iron Man
just,
currently in the comics is Ironheart, which is like a young black teenager from like that goes to MIT.
Kevin,
who's like from
we
an
said
inner
we
city.
wouldn't talk about
No
comics
more comics.
anymore.
No, but I'm saying
Kevin,
like where
I'm talking about
MCU Phase 4 is going to be led by Tom Holland.
We don't even need to talk about the future. Let's talk about Avengers Endgame.
I know, but
let's talk about now.
We're complaining
because
about this like female empowerment vision in Endgame,
Okay,
and
but-
like that has weight because that's going to tie.
It has weight, but where was that weight before now? Because honestly, I was in theaters.
In Iron Man 3 being teased as rescue. In
I don't
Black
think so.
Panther,
I
his
don't think so.
general being one of the most powerful people.
I don't think so.
Who
Because
fought
I
against
was-
the Rise Up in Black Panther.
Okay, but
Shira
you
being
know what?
one of the
There's-
coolest people in Black
Kevin,
Panther.
You know what? There's no woman on the front of a Marvel poster besides Captain Marvel. That's all I'm gonna say.
Captain Marvel.
Okay,
This
Captain
is-
Marvel. That's one person.
Now.
but
That matters.
honestly,
10 years in, the last movie before Endgame goes out.
I was in my theater.
10
I
years
was in my
ago, we
theater.
didn't feel that way. This is something that's evolving.
But,
All right, but make it a big part of the movie. Rewrite the fucking script if you want to put that in. Don't give it just a 30-second, like, oh, and all the girls are going to show up in a shot for a scene.
I think that was something that was written in when they were like, Captain Marvel's going to be a movie. Like, it's probably something that happened.
That's too late.
Yeah, you know,
It is too late, but that's Hollywood.
Honestly,
like, the Me Too movement only
then why are we
happened 4
talking
years
about it?
ago.
It's just kind of like, honestly, when I was there at the midnight viewing, I was watching that scene. I was watching that scene, and I wasn't too crazy about it. But then I saw two girls in like Captain Marvel shirts.
Yeah.
and between in between two like AMC seats, I saw one girl lean over, and she made like a finger down her throat, gagging, kind of similar. She went. Like, it was just at the Girl Squad, because there's been fucking 22 movies,
Honestly,
and one of them
but Joe,
has had like a girl.
You can't fight over that though, because there is like a giant pushback between like feminism and like female empowerment as well. Where like girls will be like,
there's a pushback.
oh, we don't need white
it's-
men to show us that we're powerful.
I want to hear
there's
more
been
of Lindsay's
20-something
opinion
movies of white
on the
men.
Girl Squad
Yeah.
scene before all this is done. All I just want to say is that feminism is bigger than a CEO being like, throw him a 30-second bone. Throw him a bone.
I thought
That's why I liked Captain Marvel, because it was integral to the movie. The whole point of the fucking movie was, fuck you.
Yeah.
It can be a woman too. It does not to be.
I thought it was
whatever.
cringy as well, but like
The crazy part is that none of these female characters have ever spoken to each other. That's how little they're in these movies. These people have never even spoken to each other.
5 years have
crazy.
passed, but also like
that's how little screen time these women get.
So that's one of my biggest gripes when I saw Force Awakens. I fucking hated it immediately out. I fucking hate that movie. I still hate it. But going into it, I realize I look at it now like a Pixar movie, and I'm like, oh, this movie is for children. This movie is adorable for
and
kids.
Children only respect men.
No, not even that. Like leading into there are kids out there, like in the same way that I was saying what we were
Children can only look up to men.
when we were talking about this movie earlier, like our grandkids are gonna watch these fucking movies, and
they will only love men.
No, there's gonna be 6-year-old girls that are watching this movie, and yeah, there are gonna be a lot of
They're gonna be like, I watched 20 movies about white men.
Yeah, no, and
Yeah,
finally,
there's a problem with
Don
that.
Cheadle was there.
and
He didn't have a movie, though.
I know, I'm just
And
kidding.
He was like a sidekick.
Finally, there's a scene
No, you're completely
where
right. I'm just
all
fucking
of
with
these girls stand up and fight for something. And sure, it's over a teenage boy holding a glove, but like, it's powerful. Like, you can't undermine.
Let it
those...
matter though. Let all
it
the
does-
men fucking
No,
die,
it doesn't matter.
And they're the only thing that can save everything.
No.
It does matter.
It doesn't matter.
I would have already died.
Guys.
It's just 3 white men fighting against Thanos.
No, it doesn't matter that it doesn't
It
matter.
matters
to you.
when it's so apparent that it's
You're
the fingerprints
not
of CEOs being like, "What's hot on Twitter right now?
No.
Feminism. Let's throw a 30-second
don't
scene in
undermine
there.
it. Don't
Let's throw them a bone. I don't want a
they
bone.
get
Make the
literal
movie matter."
seconds.
Don't undermine it. It doesn't matter that it doesn't matter to you. Like they're low. No, they're low.
I watched girls who love this franchise make a gagging
That's
simulation.
great. There are
Lindsay, how did
plenty-
you feel about this scene from a perspective of?
Well, I enjoyed listening to 3 white
Right,
men
man. Fucking
debate this.
The epitome of this podcast. 3 white men.
I mean, and you know that I am definitely like progressive and a feminist and all that. I honestly, I liked the scene and
You
thought
didn't
it was.
feel pandered to at all.
I
it didn't
not
feel like a bone.
in the
that someone
moment.
was
No,
just like, here, take this, take these scraps, and then the rest of the movie will be the
But
men.
I
saving
felt
the day.
pandered.
I feel like the women are in the movies. Like, I don't feel like they're not involved in, like, Black Widow. None of this would have happened without her
They're
sacrifice.
side characters.
She was.
They're never on the
I
front of the
understand
movie
that.
cover.
I
No,
get
I'm not
that.
even. I'm not even
but
talking from the perspective of there not being enough women in Marvel. It's more the fact that it's like we have to have this like girl
Yeah,
power scene.
no,
that
I
they're all
completely
It's
understand
showing
what
that
you're
in a
saying.
montage of all
It's
of that.
showing
It was the
that's gonna
equivalent
be
of
the
I'm just
future.
a girl scene in Captain Marvel for me.
No, it's showing that that's gonna be the
Fucking
future.
Gwen Stefani should have fucking sung the theme of this scene.
That's gonna be the future of the MCU. Like that is seriously like Tom Holland is gonna.
If I actually believed that, like if I thought that this was a tapestry of what the next Avengers movie is going to look like, literally all girls, I might be fine with that scene.
It's not-
I have
it's not
no
gonna be
faith
all
that
girls.
Gwyneth Paltrow is
No,
going to be in
no.
the next one.
Rescue-
That it's, any
yeah.
of these women are going to be in the next
Rescue
one.
is not gonna be a thing in the next MCU, but the girl that's taking over, Jotunheim or whatever it's called, I forget. I'm too drunk. There's gonna be a Black Thor.
Tessa Thompson, but
yeah.
she's not Black Thor. She's Valkyrie.
But she's gonna be the next Thor. Thor's going off with the Guardians of the Galaxy. He's not gonna be Thor anymore.
She's
gonna,
Fat Thor.
Yeah, she's gonna
Wait,
lead.
his name just isn't Thor?
He'll be Thor, but that's the thing. In the comics, there's
She's
been,
replacing him as the leader.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's been so many iterations of these iconic characters.
Let's
that,
talk
like,
about this movie.
They'll
though,
just
too.
pick up the mantle. So Tom Holland's gonna lead the new Avengers, but it's gonna be all new people, and it's gonna be a lot of women of color.
I wasn't
Like, that's
offended
gonna
by
be
the
a new thing.
scene. I liked it. I understand completely what you're saying, and that it is probably a bunch of CEOs thinking like, what can we do
Like
to
it
be on
felt to me like
brand?
watching like a fucking like car commercial where they're like, here's like an Asian woman, here's a black. Like it just felt like
Okay.
let's get the representation in there, and then we can do whatever else.
I
we
felt
I
want.
just
that
like
way.
watching
Right, yeah,
girls
there's-
kick ass at any time.
It's like a company where like 20 white guys are in charge, but they're
Yeah.
like, hey, let's get some women on this
No,
commercial.
I felt that way too, but there's
It
gonna
was just
be
kind of like, we also support you in this Me Too
no,
movement.
but there's gonna be little girls that are watching this movie that maybe
are gonna grow up to be
But
super
would, those,
No,
but
they
would
made
they
me-
not have the same reaction if that scene meant more to the actual movie? That's my point. Like,
It did mean a
I'm
lot.
not fighting
It was a
against
good
women
scene.
being
No, it was a
represented
good
because
scene.
that's the whole point that I love about Force Awakens is I watch that movie and I think about my little sister watching that movie and having the same reaction that I did to watching Luke Skywalker growing up.
It
And I
wasn't.
know that
It
she
wasn't
has
as
that
good
It's
as
feeling.
just kind of like, why
So
couldn't
before-
Thor been a girl?
No, but
Why
like
could it not have
before-
been longer
it
than
was
30
just- yeah, it
seconds?
was just
before
They
leading,
donated
but like you can't
seconds of a 3-hour
you
movie
can't
to
discount-
women.
you-
It was
you can't-
just it's
can't-
embarrassing.
you can't
You could have gone to the bathroom and missed that
no,
scene.
Yes,
but
yeah.
you can't discount the
You
scene.
could have blinked and missed that
I know,
scene.
but you can't discount it because it was included. Like that's the whole point. And no, it didn't mean as much as when like me and Angie went to go see Alita Battle Angel, and there was like a 5-year-old girl who was literally like jumping out of her seat and like cheering with her hands.
But that's a whole
over-
movie with a woman at the center.
Exactly. But this is
Marvel doesn't have
this is
and Marvel
this
has
is a
one of
whole-
those out of 20.
No, but this is a whole
Two.
franchise that was built on the backs of mainly white men. This is a franchise that's lasted for
If
almost.
Marvel does truly go in the direction of being all female fronted,
I don't think it will.
that's fine for those movies. That
Yeah.
I'm not going to praise Avengers Endgame for a 30-second
It's
scene
setting
that
it's
they
setting
threw
it
a
up.
bone
It's
to.
setting it up. So when you look at it, you have to look at it from the stance of what is Endgame going to look like in watching 12 years of movies. And what is Endgame going to look like in watching 12 more years of movies? And I think it is going to change a lot. And this is
I
that
hope it does.
point.
We're also talking from
but
the...
There are so many little points of change that affect, the future over this little thing. And this is a little thing. And I think it's going to change a lot. And yeah, it felt pandering. And yeah, it was slightly cringy. But I'm a fucking white man. And yeah, it was slightly cringy for me. And I don't think I'm not going to take my stance and take that away from
This conversation's crazy.
it's not crazy. There are people that literally grew up. There are people that were born in 2003 that one of the first movies they might have seen was Iron Man. You know, there are people that grew up.
What does that have to do with this scene, though?
There might be a little girl that grew up with this franchise.
Let's just cut this thread right now.
Can I end it with one sentence?
Yeah.
So, like I said, I totally get where you're coming from. I agree on many levels, but we're also like adults and we see things differently. I am a teacher, so I interact with 6th through 8th graders every single day, and they all came in and were fucking jazzed about it. Like
About that scene
the girls were
specifically?
like, "Did you see the girl power part? I thought of
But
you
that's not my
because
point.
I
My
know that
point
you
is,
like it." So
would
I'm
they not
saying,
also be
That's my
jazzed
point.
if the
That's
whole
my point.
third act of the movie
Of course.
involved them in a greater
of
capacity?
course, but
can
Representation is always
But,
great.
but we
I
can
shouldn't
still
say that
appreciate that it was there. It's better that it was
it's
there
better
than not
if,
there.
Yeah,
That's
if it didn't happen
That's
at
all
all.
I'm saying.
I
Or you
think,
high five.
That's my point.
No, I can agree with that.
Yeah,
It's
that's
Avengers
it's not-
Endgame where they don't have
It
any
could've
of
been
that.
better.
It's not enough. But there's never
But you don't
been
have to
not
pander
enough.
if you just make it an integral part of the
Yes.
story.
No, you're right.
There wasn't
Right?
enough time.
And I think they felt that Captain
you have-
Marvel was a big part of the story. But again, we're saying this, but every guy I've talked to hated Captain Marvel and makes fun of it.
Wait, really? Fuck those people.
You fucking said you hated it.
No, I love Captain
Or you
Marvel.
hate Brie Larson as her whatever.
No, I think Brie Larson was a better actress in Hayes Days or whatever.
But I mean, a
Remember the
lot of
days.
guys
Yeah.
I know were like, "Oh, I didn't really like that." So,
My least
I-
favorite part of Captain Marvel was Brie Larson. I wish it was a different actress.
so you didn't mind the character; it's just
I
her
love
playing it.
in the comics. I love Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel's fucking dope.
Right. I think she's comically underused in
Yeah.
this film.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I thought she was going to be the saving
she
grace of the
goes
whole
like,
thing.
I don't know.
It is
There's-
kind of ridiculous
There's a
that, like,
lot of there's a
Nick
lot
Fury-
of people you need to
Nick
save in
Fury
this
calls
universe.
her at the end of Infinity War, and then
Yeah.
she's just kind of like, "Yeah, I'm not going to be here."
She's like
for most of this
She,
movie.
she gets the beeper call. Comes,
Yeah, I got your call, but I got other planets I gotta
comes
worry
to Earth
about.
and it's like, oh, listen, there's 1,000 other planets I gotta save.
Yeah.
And then they're like, wait, hold on, we're the only people who can stop Thanos and reverse this. She's like, yeah, I gotta go fucking. I gotta fucking. There's a lot of other calls I gotta fucking answer. Like later.
But
is-
Earth is not the only place in the universe, is
That
what
is
she's
Captain
trying
Marvel.
to
Exactly.
remind them.
Yeah.
She's like, they
She-
don't have other people to save
She
them.
literally says,
Yeah.
I have to be there.
She says,
Other planets don't have the Avengers.
No, she says that. She says,
Yeah.
not every planet has the
Yeah.
Avengers, which is a great point because the Avengers are the only people who are trying to reverse.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so she needs. So that is the
Snapchat.
priority. Okay,
Right,
I
yeah.
get that.
So this is a priority, 1,000%. But then I think it's literally just the writers and directors who are like, okay, Captain Marvel hasn't been made yet, and we have no idea what to do with her.
And they did it
is-
in Endgame, which was horrible.
It
Yeah.
does
Right,
kind of feel
yeah.
like, what if Captain Marvel sucks? We can make her a big part of Endgame.
Right.
Like if it
It's
bombed
not
at
even
the
that.
box
They feel like
office.
didn't know what to do with her, and that's.
I don't
but
get why
I
they
still
did it
like
that way.
like Captain Marvel showing up at the end and preventing Thanos from snapping. Like that's a big deal. Like
So she did have a big part,
just
I
just
guess.
to go
You
on
look at it that way.
another like tangent of this movie. You
gotta start
just
wrapping up.
God damn, I gotta get away from the girl shot. I've said this already before on this podcast. I fucking hate nanotechnology in the MCU.
So you hate Tony Stark's new suit?
It's so
that's Tony Stark
it's,
Ultimate.
it's-
That's Tony
it's
Stark Ultimate.
so boring
Like
when
the
Tony
quantum realm?
Stark's
I've seen
suit
that.
appears out of nowhere, and then hold on.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just holding your hand. I'm here with you, baby.
It
I'm
was
here.
okay.
I love
Hold
you.
my hand while I say this.
I'm here.
Okay.
Push it out. Push it
Okay.
out. Breathe. Breathe.
Whoosh. Okay. Okay. Number one. It was such a fucking to-do to create the Infinity Gauntlet in Infinity War, and then all of a sudden
Tony Stark's a super genius.
just Tony Stark just creates a gauntlet, and to like Thor almost died in Infinity War just to fucking hold the fucking light, hold the light from a
Stormbreaker.
star,
That's different.
and then all of a sudden Tony Stark's like, oh yeah, I can make a star gauntlet or whatever, and then also it's just all of a sudden nanotechnology is fucking boring because it's not, it doesn't look good. It's just kind of like what about the first fucking 2 Captain Marvel movies or
Iron Man movies
where Iron Man's like, all right, I gotta go fight this shit.
And then suit on.
And then machines fucking place armor all over him, and now he's just kind of like, gotta be Iron Man.
Yeah, it's badass.
Pixels appear. It's just like, I can do that with the dissolve effect in like Windows Media Player.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, I want to be Iron Man too. It's crazy.
No,
but then also. Just really quick, it's just kind of like Hulk, it's just kind of like Hulk is like, I will do the snap. And it's just kind of like, the gauntlet is like, fits to his hand, and he's like, and it's just like, come on, like, fucking find something else to do that. And then also, Tony Stark is just like, he's got the magical suit that is just like, oh, it's healing me. Oh, it's got bazookas. Oh, it's got a fucking machine gun. Oh, it's got the yada yada. And it's kind of like, I held Thanos' hand for a brief second, and then all of a sudden, sleight of hand, I have all 6 Infinity Stones, and I'm able to snap. It's kind of like, I didn't really... There was no payoff for that. It was just kind of like, I
wanted something smarter for that, because like all of like Infinity War was like
does anything.
Everybody trying to fucking beat Thanos, and they couldn't outstrength him and they couldn't outsmart him either. And then this is just kind of like, well, then we
outsmart him. They didn't, but they can.
Okay, but they don't in this. It's just kind of like one simple like whatever. Like it starts to fuck up with the rules a little bit. Like again, maybe for people who've read the comics, but within the confines of these 2 movies, to me it was not
18 million different scenarios, and this is the best we get.
Wait, I want the quick answer to this. Quick answer.
Yeah,
how did Thanos and his whole army get there?
So that's the whole time.
Nebula got them.
Yeah, that's the
But
whole.
how could she get them all there with one
had to
man?
get back. Lindsay and I had talked about this. Nebula had to get back with the rest of the crew,
Which she did, and then she used the Hank Pym particles because they also got
Thanos had
But how did he get a spaceship with? They're like,
Thanos
you can
had
only
this
use
science.
it twice.
It's a tiny spaceship, yeah. So Thanos has the technology.
No.
That once he has
Thanos
access
had
to
to
time
look
travel,
at Pym particles
yeah,
and be like,
I
gotta science this.
No,
in like less than 24 hours, be like, I gotta science this back to the future.
He has fucking space wizards. So once he
Does
knows,
he?
yeah.
So he
Who are the space
needed some of
wizards?
those particles to then.
That's where the ship was all tiny. She brought the ship out
I
that
didn't
was
get
all
any
tiny.
of that.
Yeah, that was
because
it wasn't explained.
But Nebula goes like, "Ooh, like look at this! I got the Pym particles." But she needs that shit to return to 2024.
She doesn't have to return. She just brings Thanos
Homie,
back.
yes, she does, homie.
No, she just brings Thanos in. She just brings Thanos in. But
no,
because he comes later.
She needs the Pym particles to return.
When she comes back, pretending to be good Nebula.
yeah, after stealing her particles,
Yes.
to
she
come
needs
back.
the Pym particles.
Where's
And she
old
shows-
Nebula?
What do you mean? Where's old Nebula? Old Nebula comes back.
But she's
No, but she's. Oh, old Nebula. I'm sorry. Old Nebula,
I
like.
have to assume
The bad one.
that Thanos just sciences it.
It just
Yeah,
made
he
no
does.
sense.
He just
Which
sciences
is-
You just
it.
can't think about it.
fucking crazy.
Just like when the
And
entire
also-
building collapses and
Yes.
no one dies or gets
Yes,
hurt.
exactly.
But real quick.
It's
No.
wait,
No.
just
No,
wait,
no, no,
wait,
no,
hold on a second. When Tony Stark.
I'm just
watching the
audio.
The only part
When Tony Stark snaps his finger. When Tony Stark snaps his finger. Kevin,
Joe,
when Tony Stark snaps his fingers,
jumping ahead.
why doesn't Gamora die?
That doesn't make sense. But
Yes, it does.
No,
Everyone that appeared with him.
because he shot old Gamora. But the only part that doesn't make sense
No!
is how, and what Lindsay brought up, how
I'm
does
fine with that, because the whole idea of the gauntlet is that the snap is just symbolic. You're making what you're thinking about happen.
Yeah,
and where's Vision?
And Tony
has no
Where's
idea
Vision
who
at?
Gamora is.
Oh, because the stone
Vision
is in his
But
head.
his thought could have literally just been let all the bad people that came here die. It could have been as simple as that. It's not as cool, but I get it.
Where does Thanos' army show up? That's what Lindsay brought up. So when Thanos shows up in his ship by himself, he's in his ship, he comes down, he fights Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man, and has...
I want the quick answer to this.
Yeah.
Kevin.
He brings in the rest of it in Infinity War, where he had the entire army show up. That's his entire army has existed for that entire time. So they show up. So they didn't time travel his entire army. It's his entire army at that point that still exists shows up. They didn't time travel.
I don't get any of it.
But they were in Wakanda.
I'm not following any
They
of this.
murdered everyone in Wakanda, if you remember. His army, maybe he lost like 5% of his army.
But what do you mean they didn't time
You
travel?
didn't-
That's in the future.
This is Thanos before he's got
It's
any
not
of
in
the
the
stones.
future. Yeah. His stones have nothing to do with his army. His army is intergalactic.
But how does the army get to the Avengers
She's talking
building?
about like
his ship shows up, sends out a distress call.
But they're there 5 years in the future.
Yes.
How do they all get there without Pym particles or whatever?
They don't have to travel from the past to the future. They still exist in that future. Because Thanos' army, even though he's died at that point, still exists.
That's not made clear.
I know, but it's...
That makes
It
absolutely
doesn't
no
really
sense.
matter to me. I didn't think about it
just
until
doesn't
this
make
moment.
sense.
It's one of those like superhero
just
suspension
have to
of
let it
disbelief
go.
things.
Yeah.
It's just like it's fine. Like if it creates for a cool moment,
Yeah.
I'll let it go.
Yeah. But... I forget what we were talking about. It doesn't matter.
So they just were able to be there, and that's it.
Yes. Thanos showed up by himself.
But
Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man by
I
himself.
will say, I
go
love
for it.
that. I love the final battle scene with all of them there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really cool scene for people who love the movies to see them all together in one place.
That made me want to watch
You don't
Ready
like
Player
that?
One, which I've never seen, but it made me want to watch it because I was like,
Okay.
"Oh
and they
wait,
always
this."
have to throw in the callback, like when Sam's like, "On your right" or whatever.
Yeah, I was like,
Right.
I was like, "Oh, this scene is garbage," but like maybe I should watch Ready Player One because I thought that was
I
gonna
liked
suck.
it.
Fights in Marvel movies never usually do anything for me. But this final fight does something for me. Shut up for a minute, Kevin.
When Tom
It's
Holland,
just-
Tom
it's-
Holland did
oh, God!
when Tom Holland,
It's just
when Tom Holland did,
Dicks out for Robin.
Dicks out for Robin, yeah. Dicks out for Robin. Dicks out for Robin.
Come on.
When
Okay,
Tom Holland did the auto kill mode, that was like my favorite part of the movie.
Okay.
Did not care.
Okay.
I don't know why
that was a
scene.
callback from
Okay.
Homecoming.
The
and I
whole
love
fight
it.
scene I could just do without. Honestly.
Okay, honestly though,
Same.
wait. Let me talk to Mike though. I feel like, hey, we've been in this podcast for a long time. I love you.
Hey Mike.
Hey, Kevin, let me just kiss you for just a moment
Hey, Mike.
in this time.
Hey Mike, I love you so much.
I feel like the fights in Marvel, they usually do nothing for me. But this final fight, I think it does something for me. Because like Infinity War, I think like it's horde mode. Like in a video game. It's just like we gotta keep fighting these faceless people until like the right moment shows up. And
Which was like
but-
all of Justice League as well.
and like this has some of that, but like we also have like this Iron Man, Captain America.
There were so many moments.
yeah.
in this fight.
We have this Iron Man, Captain America,
Rescue,
Thor
Pepper Potts.
fighting Thanos, but then we also have the baton toss of the glove or whatever.
Yeah.
Kill the carrier scene.
Right,
Yeah.
and there's something to follow in this fight. Where in Infinity War, I was just kind of like,
Just fighting to fight. Yeah.
I was like, I don't know. This is just horde mode. It's just like, how many faceless creatures can they fight?
I mean,
like,
Infinity War was good because it was
the
death
stakes
of all
are
those
established
enemies.
in this movie. Is what I'm just trying to get across. The stakes in Infinity War were just kind of like, I don't know. And then it's also like when everybody dies at the end, I was just kind of like, I don't know, they're gonna come back. There's a fucking Black Panther 2, you know? Like, it was just kind of that kind of thing.
Yeah, we knew they had to come back. There was no
I
But
mean,
again,
for
suspense.
For me, I thought that, like, I didn't know whether or not everyone was going to win because Infinity War had happened. And, like, Infinity War, honestly, like, going into Infinity War, I did not expect the ending to Infinity War to happen where everybody died. I thought Thor was going to show up. I thought he was going to chop. I didn't think he was going to kill Thanos, but I didn't think the snap was going to happen. And then, like, going into Endgame, I didn't know what was going to happen up until, you know, Doctor Strange opened up all the portals and everything good happened. Like, going when
The
it was
end of this movie looks like a literal comic book. When there's like thousands of people, like that's what I think of when I think of a comic book.
Yeah.
And then also like when Captain America is beat the shit out of and his you know, he's muddy and his shield is broken.
Is snapped in
it
half.
looks like a fucking Brian Hitch drawing. Like that is some fucking real comic book shit.
Yeah.
I never saw that in Infinity War. Infinity War doesn't totally look like a comic book to me.
Yeah.
This movie looks like 100% like a comic book to me.
I still wish in this movie that Thanos wasn't in it. I think
Oh,
that's something
same.
we talked about before. Like,
Same.
I wish
I wish Thanos' head was cut off, and that was the end
it.
of Thanos.
And this
Yes,
final
yes.
fight
the
wasn't
enemy should
in
have
it.
been the consequences of Thanos'
yes,
actions.
yes,
Infinity
exactly,
War.
exactly.
And this final fight hadn't been in it, and all that. But
if they could stretch the kind of like homage to Back to the Future 2, you know, like in just the consequences.
Yeah,
that,
make
that,
the
that they
stakes
have that.
within that second act of the movie without bringing
How,
this whole
how
third
bold
act.
of that would would that be for a superhero movie, like one that has no real, you know, like it's
Villain.
it's crazy that you're just like, what? They fucking killed Thanos in the first 15 minutes of this movie.
They could have
and
had
to
a climax.
follow up with that. Yeah,
They could have had a climax that was akin to like either like I could compare it to like a Nolan movie like Inception or like I think Star Wars always does it in their climaxes where a fight's happening here, but a fight's also happening here, and we're going to tie into all of them, and then they'll all conclude at the same time. Whereas this is everybody comes to the same place at the same time, and this fight just keeps going, and it all concludes at the same time.
that was the whole thing.
If it was all going on in like
that's Infinity War
Captain
too. There's
America,
a lot of different things in it. There's a lot of different threads.
Well,
in
that's
Infinity
right.
War. Yeah,
if Thanos hadn't shown up, like, yeah, that would be the thing. Like, I wish they had just done the time travel thing, and
the time travel thing is a lot of different threads.
yeah,
that they follow,
time travel is so good, and I wish they had just done that. I'm happy. I'm not disappointed in the movie at all, and I'm glad they went the direction they did. And the end fight scene, it's kind of messy for me, but like Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America versus Thanos is like so good.
But it's not even Thanos from Infinity War. That's the thing that kind of makes it
exactly. Which
stink.
is
He's still that powerful. Like
he's young Thanos who doesn't know any of these people or anything,
and doesn't have.
It's also weird when he says like, "Oh, it's going to be personal this time." Like,
right? Yeah,
that's because
Why?
he knows at that point.
People
Since Avengers 1, he knows who the Avengers are, and at that point where he has access to Nebula's databanks, he knows he died, and he knows that the Avengers are so spiteful against him that he's just like, I should have killed all of you during the snap. Because in Infinity War, like, he's fighting Tony Stark, and he's like, I'm going to spare you. Like, I'm going to make sure that you live when I snap everybody out of existence, because you're so, like, gung-ho and such a little bitch that I want to fight you later. Then he knows that, like, he dies, and he's like, okay, I'm going to kill all of you. Like, fuck you.
I do love part 2 of this film. I know I'm fucking jumping around, but, like, when like Loki teleports to the Tesseract and Iron Man and Captain America have to time travel again to the SHIELD headquarters in New Jersey in the 1970s, I think this is like really truly where the film shines. Mm-hmm. It's one of my favorite parts of the film. You know, Tony Stark gets to talk to his dad, Roger Sterling. And it's fucking emotional. I mean this paired with the whole Thor Dark World thing, it's, you get to go back and you get to talk to a parent that has died, and it's like, what do you say? But then also like having the knowledge that you're time traveling and you can't say exactly what you mean, but you can say something along the lines of that. I think that taps into the theme of this whole movie, which is just kind of this, like a previous generation setting up for a new generation, which is, it works in line with all the phases of the film and everything.
They do some fun stuff with it, where like Thor with his mother, like I think past Thor probably didn't need to hear from his mother. This Thor needs to hear from his mother, and does get to hear that. And his mother gives him advice. But then when Iron Man meets with his dad needs to hear from him, and he like gives advice to his dad.
That's like honestly in this movie, like I would say at one point where it got super emotional was when Iron Man gets the Infinity Stones and snaps, you know, Thanos' army out of existence, and he's dying, and Gwyneth Paltrow comes up and is like, the first thing she says is, "We're gonna be all right." Mm-hmm. And like that's, I deal with, you know, death on like a weekly basis at my job, and that's something that I see all the time when people are trying to talk their loved ones into non-existence, is you don't have to worry. Because that's
what does she say? Like, oh, like you can rest now.
Yeah.
Like,
the thing she says first is, "We're gonna be all right," and that's
the
Tony
biggest. Stark has a gigantic problem.
Yeah,
with like PTSD.
I'm gonna protect people. That's Tony Stark's biggest thing.
He literally can't sleep in one of the Iron Mans because of the repercussions of what happens in the first Avengers movie. He literally cannot sleep.
Iron Man 3,
and now she's telling him, you can sleep.
And that's Pepper Potts' big thing with him the whole time is, I'm not gonna watch you die. Like that's her big thing, especially in Infinity War. She says when they're like jogging around in the middle of the movie, is like, why are you wearing that thing on your chest? You don't need it anymore. Take it off. I want to live a life with you. And that's Tony Stark's whole thing in Endgame too. Is like, I have a life now. I have a daughter, and that just carries so much weight in her accepting the fact that like he needed to die. Like that's
I felt a lot of like secondhand cringe though with like Tom Holland Spider-Man like being there, and then she's kind of waiting, and I just wanted to be like, get out of the way, like his wife's here. You knew him barely.
That's
a movie relationship.
But he gets out of the way.
I mean,
like right
it
when
didn't ruin it.
Get out of the way.
But that's
a little
like,
cringe.
That's so. Like,
I don't know how else to accomplish that scene, because obviously you want to have that moment. But it was maybe at different times they have that moment or something.
But that's like so.
And also his daughter doesn't get to have a moment either. So
but she's
I just thought it was fucked. I didn't think they were gonna kill him when they introduced that he has a daughter.
Yeah.
Like, I thought almost like, okay, well, this is now he's untouchable. I know that, but he didn't have to die.
I thought all the other Avengers would die, and he would be the last one. Yeah, I thought when they introduced
like he could stop being in the movies without dying, just like Captain America. Well, we assume he will die soon because he's an elderly man at the end or whatever. But I don't know. I just thought it was fucked up. You like introduce us to his kid and like see this beautiful life he finally built, and now he's just like dead. And she just loses her dad, and Happy's like, I'm gonna make you cheese.
I'm sure they'll have a Disney series about their life they lived together.
No, like
let's also talk about that. How does Captain America show up at the end of this movie when like it's very specifically explained?
Because there are two Captain Americas.
No,
there are.
Yes, I understand that. But like it's very specifically explained that like when you go back in time,
Two Captain
like
Americas.
you create a new future.
No,
kind of.
you only create a new future if you fuck up with the old past.
No.
So he just
No,
went back.
no,
and
that's
fucked-
one of the rules. Is
No,
that
no,
you're
he
creating
fucked-
a new future when you don't create.
So the new future.
No, I think Kevin is right. 'Cause
The new-
that's the whole reason that Tilda Swinton allows them to take the stone.
Yeah.
Is because they're going to put it back. They're going to keep that timeline.
Yeah.
Right,
And the new.
but she assumes that he'll return to his reality.
Okay, so-
how does he come
Yeah,
back?
how's
to
there a
our
timeline
him
where
going
he
back would fuck
does
up
all
the
the things he
timeline?
does,
So
but
he-
also lives a
Wait,
nice
he,
life?
he,
Humans-
he does
humans-
something different.
Okay, so
wait,
you-
hold on,
All right,
hold
you go
on,
first,
2
you go
seconds.
first, you go first.
The whole rule of time travel is that when you go back and you change like the timeline of what happens, that is not your timeline. It doesn't affect you. It affects like what's happening in that timeline. So like it would not make sense that he would be in this timeline when he's changed something as drastic as like, oh, I'm going to be with my honey and I'm going to do a little World War II dance, you know? Like, it's just, he wouldn't be in our future, you know? Like, it doesn't work out like that.
He would. You're saying he would have a happy ending, but in another timeline.
Yes,
So
exactly. Right,
when-
yeah.
When Captain America went back in time, he created Universe B. And when the Hulk is standing there still controlling the time controls, he exists in Universe B. So he goes from existing in Universe A to sending Captain America back in time to concurrently in the cinematic universe existing in Universe B. So he sends Captain America back in time. Captain America, fucks Peggy, pumps out however many kids he wants to have, which will exist in.
My God.
Captain America 2 and 3 will probably get a future Captain America that's a woman.
No, it's
But-
Falcon now.
No,
Well,
yeah,
that's
it's
in the
Falcon.
Disney XD series, but we'll probably get a Captain America movie where it's
Is
probably
Disney
female.
XD a serious thing?
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
channel.
I gotta know.
It's Captain America.
Is
Yes,
Disney
it's a
like...
channel.
Disney's XD already exists. That's
Yes.
not what
It
they're
does,
calling
but
it.
It shows.
it'll exist on the streaming
But
service.
it's gonna be on the channel.
Yeah.
There will be shows on this channel.
Right, but that's
So,
not what the streaming service is
It doesn't
called.
matter. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
So
Just making sure we know that.
Captain America is sent back in time.
I think it's
So-
like Disney Plus or something.
Yeah. So Captain America is sent back in time from
it's not
Universe
like
A.
Disney emoji.
At
like
this point-
XD.
At this point, he, marries his lady friend. They live a happy life together. That is now Universe B. So, in the future, where Hulk is messing with the time controls, they already exist in Universe B because they've sent him back in time and have now created this co-concurrent universe. And when they come future to that, there's still a Captain America that exists that crashed the plane, that was frozen, that came out, that Captain America from Universe A fought when he was trying to get the Mind Stone. Like, that's all already a thing that exists within the timeline that this Captain America from Universe A was sent back in time to. So he's already done all that stuff. So as long as he doesn't influence that Captain America, he won't affect anything. So as long as he's just married to Peggy and
So
has a
there's
happy
two
life.
of him existing at once.
Yeah, as long
Okay.
as he doesn't go in and fuck with any of that,
Sure.
it won't change anything.
Let's just accept it.
So is he like hiding when like Captain America goes to
Yeah.
like
He
It's
just doesn't.
a little
Yeah, he doesn't,
crazy.
or maybe he does fuck with stuff, and that's where the What If series comes into play. So the What If series is a whole.
I don't want to
thing
go
where
down
we
this
talk about
road.
your
It's
timeline.
doing.
Okay, can we
It's
just
already
let's
a
just
thing.
accept? Okay, so Universe A and B happens at the same time. Sounds great. We accept that.
I don't even care. It was such a great sentimental ending
Yeah,
that
I
I'll
liked
accept
it.
whatever
I-
explanation.
I was into
I
it.
love when we were
Like,
watching it, and Andrew was like, "Is that Clint Eastwood?"
He looks like Joe Biden, that motherfucker.
Yeah, they did also do a good job of making him look old.
Yeah.
They can go young and they can go old.
Wait,
The-
one more quick question.
Fuck it up.
When he's on the bench,
Yeah,
how does he know to come back there?
because he left.
Because
knows.
He remembers.
He's still
No, I know.
He's
I
still
know
a
that.
version
No,
of Cap-
I know
What are you
that he
asking?
knows I was sent back in time, and I'm just gonna put them all back and stay here because this is me wanting to live a life like Tony Stark told me to. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But how does So when the year like 2024 happens, he knows he needs to go there to say like, I'm okay. This is what happened. Okay, that's all I wanted to know. Yeah. They didn't like zap him back. No. He just showed up on his own.
He didn't get zapped. He just walked out. He took an Uber.
Okay, so he just showed up.
Also, I feel like there's a weird like off-screen scene where like Rocket Raccoon like injects Natalie Portman with something and then like sucks the ether out of her while she's like unconscious and then like
I feel like they didn't feel like dealing with showing us how that would happen.
I was
so
confused and so concerned. I was like, what did Rocket Raccoon just like violate Natalie Portman?
Is Natalie Portman okay?
I'm so weirded out by like he's like, don't worry about it. I just did it. And it was just kind of like, oh God, Rocket Raccoon, what did you do? Like,
that'll also be on Disney XD.
Right, yes, that whole series will be on Disney XD.
Just him.
Rocket Raccoon
extracting the ether.
Just date raping Natalie Portman.
Okay. All right, let's get into the end game of this review.
Okay.
I believe it's time.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss Game of Thrones.
Yeah, seriously. All right.
Yo, but real quick, like, do you think Jon Snow was saying like go to like Arya when that dragon showed up?
Well, spoilers for Game of Thrones as well.
I didn't hear that theory, but
You didn't hear that theory? It was a fan theory where like Jon Snow.
You don't need to explain it in the podcast recorded episode. We're fine.
So
let's talk about shut the fuck up.
Jon Snow.
Shut the fuck up, Kevin. Let's talk about Avengers.
We invited you
to
this podcast.
So like basically like male patriarchy.
Somebody go first. Somebody end this.
What are we doing? Just our rating?
Ratings and final thoughts.
It's real fucking cringe that you would do that, Kevin.
And
let's do it.
You do it out of 5, right? 5 fingers.
How long has it been since you've been on?
Jesus.
It's been over a year.
I think you might have missed all
1,
2018.
2, 3,
it has been over a year.
6,
it's been over a
7,
year.
8, 9.
Yeah, 0 to 5
right.
and half.
I'll go first because I'm not going to talk forever. So,
side eye,
like all of you. No, you guys all talk a lot. It's great. So I have a podcast. So to wrap it up, I thought it was a good ending to 10 years of movies.
Kevin! Jesus Christ!
I was trying to do a Warriors reference. I'm sorry.
What?
Let it go.
Warriors.
Okay.
No.
I liked it. I was entertained. I would see it again. So I'm not picky. So I'll give it a 5 because any movie that I really like, I give it a 5. I enjoyed it.
Fuck it up, Lindsay. Fuck it up. Fuck it up, baby. For Harambe. Kicks out for Harambe. I need another beer. Let's go.
Kevin, go. Quickly.
I'm going at the end.
You're going last.
I'm going Endgame.
Okay, shit. I have no idea what I want to give this movie. Grab me one, please.
Are you upset with me that I gave it a 5?
No.
I'm not. I love it.
I'm just not.
We're in the end game now.
I'm not a
Anything
true
goes.
critic.
Kevin
I liked it.
Kevin gave Big Short.
I laughed. I cried. I felt things.
Big
I was
reputation.
Like, woo!
I think I might have peaked in my Marvel enjoyment with Infinity War. I felt like I got a lot out of Infinity War. It felt like more to me a culmination of the MCU in terms of just being a big movie event that was entertaining, also being emotionally taxing as well. Mm-hmm. I think part of the problem is that more of the characters that I like from the Marvel Cinematic Universe are in Infinity War, and I don't really care about the core Avengers as much, and they're the focus of Endgame.
Oh,
I do like. I've come around on Captain America, but I still don't like any of his solo movies at all. I've always kind of liked Thor, but like Black Widow, Hawkeye, Hulk, never really cared about them. Besides when they've been like B characters in other movies in the MCU. And I feel like they got rid of a lot of the best like comic relief from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like I think Chris Pratt and the Guardians are all some of the best comic relief, and they really just leave Rocket behind, and he doesn't work when he doesn't have the other ones to work off of. And like I thought Infinity War, like it was that like culmination of like all the characters, like, you know, the posters got everybody in it, and they created all these great combinations of like, you know, Doctor Strange talking with Tony Stark, and like the Guardians interacting with whoever, and they just threw all these different combinations, like Kevin being on this podcast with Lindsay at the same time, that were unique and funny. And then I felt like we didn't really get any of that in this movie.
Wait, what?
Kevin, you
What
want
was
wine? Kevin, you want like a wine can?
What?
We got wine. You want a wine?
No, I can only
You
drink what I can
finish
drink.
this up.
And of course.
No,
I'm sorry.
I'm
I can't get any
allergic
alcohol
to
for
all
you.
this shit. It's okay. It looks like I've drank like 18 beers.
Yeah, this looks like a lot.
So it's okay.
Anyway, there's just on like a core value of entertainment, I didn't feel as entertained by this movie. I still appreciate most of the choices they made. When they would make a bold choice in this movie, I'd be like, hell yeah, I just wish there was more funny moments in between.
Yeah, it was a
You know,
very, it was
like-
a very serious movie.
And even like the serious parts, like I felt like they didn't always hit as hard as I wanted them to. Like I felt more emotional during Infinity War. Like the snap, I mean, we exhausted this point at length, but like even if I didn't think that it was permanent, I felt for the characters who were remaining at the end of the snap. In
This
Infinity War.
movie would have hit a lot harder if the Spider-Man Homecoming trailer hadn't come out, like before this movie.
Maybe. I think just in the actual execution of this movie, they didn't execute as well as they did in Infinity War.
Yeah.
Infinity War just made more sense as a movie. It just worked, a lot of the combinations that they made. It felt like, when I watched Infinity War, I had more faith in Endgame than I think I do after watching Endgame. Like, I saw Infinity War and I was like, oh man, like they must be going towards some like incredible ending that could not end any other possible way.
Have you felt like better about it after watching it? Like how do you feel after watching it?
I think I'm kind of just the same. Like I wasn't bored at all in the movie. Like it's not a net negative experience at all. I think the stakes were so high, and Infinity War raised the bar for what I thought a superhero movie was possible of, especially as a like global event. And Endgame should have been bigger than that, and maybe they just kind of popped things off a little too early.
Yeah.
In Infinity War, you know. Like I wanted more for the actual culmination of this. Even though I think on paper a lot of the things they did come up with made sense and were good for those characters. Like I think Captain America's ending is picture perfect for the series as a whole, and Captain America, that makes a lot of sense. I actually really like the idea of Fat Thor going to be with Guardians of the Galaxy.
So good.
That makes me excited for the next Guardians movie.
Yeah.
I don't like the shield being handed off to Falcon just because I don't think anyone really cares about Falcon that
also,
much.
like, Falcon's not a super soldier.
I don't
Like,
think
what's he
Anthony
gonna do?
Mackie has the star power to be the next
No, I thought
Captain
Bucky
America.
was going to be the next.
Bucky,
And
Bucky
why
has
would he
been-
not hand it off to Bucky when he has this like lifelong relationship with Bucky that has spanned, despite him being like traveled through time and frozen and
I think-
whatever.
I think
Whereas
that's-
like Anthony Mackie's just like the guy he used to jog with.
Yeah,
in
I think
DC.
that's,
I-
they wanted to keep Bucky as like his own thing. Like he is the Winter Soldier. Like that, he will be that. You know.
Then don't hand it off at all. Like,
Well, no, it's exactly like I think Red Letter Media says it. It's kind of like, you know, the handing off of the Captain America's shield and handing off of just kind of like being Thor to the Valkyrie or whatever.
And Iron Man to rescue.
Right, yeah. It's just kind of like we're not really that invested in these characters, and they're not really that interesting either.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, also
they
the
haven't really-
characters
yeah.
are bigger than the actors that play them, and that's like a big thing with comic books and superheroes in general.
I don't think that's an excuse anymore though, because I think the movies have surpassed whatever the comics ever hoped to be.
It's not
1,000%.
even-
It's just,
I don't think 2 billion people read the comic series.
it was just like I said at the beginning of this. It was just kind of like 5 years before this all started. Nobody gave a fuck about Marvel, like to the extent where the company was like, "Oh shit, we're bankrupt."
Yeah.
and it was just kind of like, we can sell toys.
No, but
You know,
that's
it was
the
just-
thing.
yeah,
Like they're
nobody
bleeding-
cares about the
They're
trajectory
bleeding.
of these
They're
comic
bleeding.
characters. Yeah.
They didn't back then, but that's the thing now is there is going to be another Iron Man movie, and people are going to go see it. And maybe it won't make as much money as Endgame. Maybe it won't make as much money as Iron Man 1. But when we get to that point where it's Iron Man 2.03, it will be making as much money. People will give a shit about it. And that's
that might be true for like future hypothetical thing, but I do not think that Anthony Mackie and the Falcon, that's the actor, right? Or am I thinking
No,
of
but
someone
that's
else?
one thing, and that's the thing. If it doesn't do well,
Because they've had him in like every movie since he came a character, and I don't think anybody's really cared.
That's the thing.
Whereas like there's like nobody's writing fan fiction about Falcon, whereas
is.
they are writing fan fiction about Bucky,
Yeah.
Falcon-
and especially
exactly.
his relationship to Captain America.
Yeah.
And I don't even really care, and I would have felt more if he had given the shield to Winter Soldier.
I would have
and
too.
I think you have to go on of, especially if they're gonna throw like Captain Marvel into this, like then you have to follow the movies more than you're gonna follow whatever
that's the
comic
thing.
book
Like,
fan service.
I feel the same way, but I have so much trust in the MCU.
But I don't
at this
even-
point that like
I don't even necessarily care about what the next movie is going to be.
They're doing
even in this movie, it would have meant more to give the shield to Bucky.
But they're doing those Disney Plus series. There's gonna be a whole
Again, I don't
Falcon-
care. Forget all of that. Take this movie on its own.
Yeah.
It meant nothing to give that shield to. Anthony Mackie was hardly even like in this movie.
It did
Bucky
for
was
me.
also in this movie less, but he was a big part of other movies previous.
It did
to this.
for me because I understand.
He was a whole plot point of like fucking Captain America was willing to go to war with the other Avengers,
And that's-
over Winter Soldier.
That's what I understand is that Bucky is his own thing at this point. Like Bucky went to Wakanda, became his own thing. Like,
But
he is the Winter Soldier, and the Winter Soldier isn't necessarily.
Is Falcon going to be an actual Captain America, or is it just symbolic?
No, I think he will. I think he'll be the next Captain America, and it disappoints me slightly because Falcon isn't a super soldier. Like the Winter
That's
Soldier.
the other thing. It's like Captain America's biologically
Yeah,
engineered.
and the Winter
Falcon's
Soldier
just like,
is.
I got a cool suit.
yeah,
Right.
Whereas
exactly.
Winter Soldier is biologically engineered.
Yeah.
Give him the fucking shield.
Yeah, that's.
There's no other right answer.
I
as far
agree.
as I'm
I
concerned.
agree the same way, but I trust the MCU to deliver. Like that's the thing.
Doesn't
We've
matter.
done-
I just wanted to throw that. I gotta get
agree.
to the end of it. We gotta get
I
to the end of
agree.
this review.
Yeah, I agree completely.
I'm torn between 3 and 3.5 fingers. It's definitely a net positive experience.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to look at like recent Marvel movies where I think I enjoyed Captain Marvel more than this on just a whole net level. But I think I'm going to err on the side of caution and give it the same score because I feel like I might sour on Captain Marvel in the future on a second viewing.
Yeah.
I feel like I could come around more on this on a second viewing.
I've thought a lot about Captain Marvel. I don't like it as much as Endgame, but
I think I'll give this 3.5 fingers. It's net positive. I gave Captain Marvel 3.5 fingers. I would feel weird giving this less than Captain Marvel, just because it seems more important. I think more work went into it. Seems a little bit more polished in some areas. I think Captain Marvel maybe just succeeds more because it's simpler and it doesn't have as many moving parts to try and make sense of in some cohesive unit.
Right.
So I'll give this a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. 3.5 fingers for me. Who next?
All right. Yeah. Let's talk about it because I think Infinity War is a little bit more of a cohesive movie. I just have so many questions about this fucking movie. Like, how did Tony Stark create the kind of like Stark Gauntlet or like the Infinity Gauntlet when like in Infinity War, you know. Did I already talk about this? Like where like only Peter Dinklage was like this? Yes, yeah. That fucking drives me insane. Like that's such a pivotal moment.
Tony Stark
in
and Peter
Infinity
Dinklage
War
are the same.
Kind of. Also, I don't know if anyone saw it, but Howard the Duck is in the. He's in the last fight. Yes.
Wait, he is?
Yes.
Where?
Yeah, I saw
There's
that.
a still frame of it. He's Howard the Duck.
He's in Guardians of the Galaxy 1, right?
Yes. Howard the Duck.
Oh, then
is,
that's what I'm thinking
is
of.
brought back.
He gets
and
snapped out
he's
and then comes
fighting.
back.
Yeah, in the last.
Where is he fighting?
He's fighting. Literally, it's in like the. It's
That's
like
literally
when-
like just for fans.
Wait,
like,
no, no. It's like you can see in the same frame as when like the Wasp is brought back. You can just see like a 3D duck being with like a gun, being like, running towards the
Where's the
battle.
Howard the Duck remake? I fucking love that.
Exactly! where the fuck is
Give
that?
the fans what they want.
Phase 6 that'll come out.
Also, how does Ant-Man keep growing and shrinking in this movie when, like, they're using, like, all the Pym particles they can just to get fucking, like there
Do they need
and
the Pym
back.
particles to increase? Or?
He needs the Pym
It's
particles to grow and shrink, and then Pym particles are incredibly essential for them to go back in time. And
I was waiting for them to
return.
make a verbal joke about how big he got in this, because it was such a big part of Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Oh, yeah.
It was
So
38 feet tall.
So they made a joke about Paul Rudd's penis. That's what I was waiting for.
And then I don't know. I feel like a lot of like the time travel shit that happens in this movie, like really like clashes against like a bunch of the shit that happens in Doctor Strange or whatever. Like Wong and like a ton of like civilians in Korea or wherever die, and then Doctor Strange is like.
What's the difference between the times?
They all come back, but I mean they have access to the time stone. Like why can't they
while
bring?
they're time traveling? It's different.
Yeah, but Tony Stark dies, and maybe they could bring him back.
They could, but they're not going to, because if they brought him back in that timeline, that means his sacrifice wouldn't count anything towards the current timeline. Thanos wouldn't die.
Okay, sure.
You got none of that.
Let's say okay.
Wrap it up.
Also, Captain America has to be over 100 years old. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. And he's still,
I mean, logically,
and he's still
homie's
hot.
over. Homie's like counting like 102. He's like, hey, like.
But that's biologically engineered Captain. That's not original
right. No.
Steve Rogers.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
yeah.
Right.
You would imagine that dude.
Yeah.
200.
He could still fuck.
Listen, he's still fucking too. He's still coming.
He's shooting out those.
He's still fertile.
I don't know. The whole Joe, it was exactly like the whole thing.
I know.
Where
You'd be expecting that.
hold on.
Let me say
You'll
that.
get the platform.
Let me say that one
Hold
joke.
on.
You'd be expecting that Captain America to be hosting Joe Rogan podcast, but he's not
Yes.
there at that point.
Why wasn't it like what is the Will Smith movie and what's his
Gemini?
name? No, the Will Smith movie that was on Netflix. It was the magic one with
The
fairies.
Bright.
Yes,
Yeah.
Bright. Bright. Like Will Smith is eating breakfast, and it was just kind of like the Joe Rogan podcast like appears on his dinner table. And he's like, "Hey, what's the deal with like fairies and magic and like police brutality? Like that's whack, dog." And it was just like it was such like a crazy like, oh man, even in this reality, Joe Rogan's like, "Oh damn, like, I'm not sure trans people should have rights." Like,
Yeah, my roommate still watches like the Joe Rogan podcast all the time, and he'll like go in the living room and like put it on. I'm just like, oh god, it's like I'm fucking in junior year and still smoking weed. Like, what the fuck is going on?
We digress.
it's like him and like Pete Holmes are like both asking questions of just like, damn, I'm high for the first time. What do you think happens after we die? Like,
Yeah, it's just so stupid.
Yeah.
It's just like, dude, take a one-on-one class. Like, fuck off.
But honestly, I promise I'm very close to the end of my review. Lindsay's winning on the edge. But just, I do really like the scene of this kind of like Joe or whatever the fuck his name is, Russo, is this kind of, I'm just, it's just like the kind of I'm just a girl scene of just kind of like, hey, I'm the first public gay character in, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but like, whatever. That's a whole other topic to go into. But just this,
5 out of 5 fingers.
but just honestly,
honestly,
this scene is very rare for the Russo brothers. Be just like coming off of like everything that what's his name? Fucking who directed Buffy, the other shit.
Joss Whedon.
Joss Whedon was very interested in like, oh my god, what do civilians have to say about like everything that's happened in Avengers and everything? They have a very public opinion in a lot of the Avengers films, and then all of a sudden the Russo brothers come into the picture, and it's kind of like, we are the Avengers, and we're fighting in like a like completely abandoned airport, and there's just nobody else exists in this world besides like the Avengers, and it was really nice to have that moment of just like people who are reacting to the Snatcher that are not the Avengers. You know, it's just somebody who's like, I went on a date.
I'm in a support group.
I went on a date. I'm crying when he brings out the appetizers. He's crying when he brings out the dessert or whatever. Like it's a very inside look to, you know, I don't know if I said this during the review. At first, I kind of thought they were going to do that with Mark Ruffalo's The Hulk, where he was like, I'm gay. You know,
the Hulk is gay?
Yes. Is that fucking wild?
Be still my beating heart.
Like, honestly, I honestly thought, like, it was just my brain just kind of like colliding two things, and I was just kind of like,
Mark Ruffalo is straight, but the Hulk is gay.
I was like, are they doing this? Like, and I was kind of excited. I was like, okay.
Mark Ruffalo's like, why am I on prep? Hulk, calm down.
I mean, also, there's some fucking ridiculous moments in this movie where, like, a fucking rat, like, types in the fucking right formula for Ant-Man to fucking return to this universe. That's fucking insane!
Comic books.
Like, it's just like...
It took 5 years for that to happen. Statistically, it's possible.
It's just fucking crazy. And then that's followed by, like, a Kim Jong-un... like weird, like out of place, terrible looking, like wordless cameo by a security guard. Like it was just kind of like.
Did you say Kim Jong Un? Ken Jeong.
Wrap it up. Hey, wrap it up, my friends. Kim Jong Un. Remember when Kim Jong-un was in Community?
Yeah, remember Community when Kim Jong-un was the Spanish professor?
Phonetically similar. I'll give you that.
Remember when Kim Jong-un was in The Hangover? Oh, man. I just hope Spider-Man fucks...
what's your score?
I just hope Spider-Man fucks Ant-Man's daughter. Because now she's of age.
Joe, what's your score? What's your score?
God, spit it out.
Joe.
God, I'm just happy Captain America reclaims his life in this.
What's your score, Joe?
In this movie, you know, in
Joe.
Gamora, it's gonna be an interesting.
Joe,
dynamic.
what's your score? Joe, what's your score? Joe,
God damn it!
What's that
The
score?
credits were pretty out of focus. I didn't really like that shit.
Joe, I don't care about the Joe. Stop spinning beer all over it.
Oh god! Oh fuck it! They weren't that really great. What was it? The banging metal at the end of the.
Joe, if you spin more beer all
At the
over
end of this movie.
Joe, what's your score?
I'm gonna give it a 4. I think Kim Jong-un was fucking great in this movie for the.
Kevin, you have 30 seconds because Joe ate up all your time.
I love this movie.
5 fingers, all right.
It
Good.
is
Putting it
a
down.
lead up to 10 years plus of movies.
5 fingers, all
If
right.
you haven't, no, not necessarily.
I want to change mine to 4.
That's what I'm saying. I'm wondering.
I feel dirty
I have
after
too many
Joe's
questions.
review.
I have too many questions.
I'm wondering what this movie would
Lots of plot
mean
holes.
to people. Like coming out of this movie, my first reaction was, "I love this movie," but what was it? Like what? If somebody had never seen a Marvel movie ever and saw this movie, is it a good movie or is it just a good ending?
Some
And,
questions aren't meant to be answered.
That's what I'm
not a-
saying. No,
it's
that's
not
what
a
I'm saying. though. Like
standalone,
it was an amazing ending, but is it a good movie? I liked Infinity War more. I really liked Infinity War. Like if I'd been on the Infinity War episode, fuck both of you for not having me on the Infinity War episode. But if I'd been on there,
Kevin, you can't be on every
I
fucking
should be.
superhero movie.
We're gonna
Please
have to,
let him finish.
retcon this podcast.
We will. We'll go back
single
and have me on every superhero movie. But if like Infinity War was great, Infinity War was awesome. I would probably give Infinity War like 4.5. So I would say that I'd probably give this movie like 4 fingers because I don't know whether it was a good movie. Like if I'd never seen a Marvel movie ever, would I enjoy this movie as much as I enjoyed it?
4 fingers, solid.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's going to come out to 8.75. That'll round down to 3.5.
3.5 fingers, ladies and gentlemen.
Quick question: does anyone kind of get like why Thanos did that? I mean,
What?
he did it with good intentions. Why
Did
he
what?
gets rid of half the universe?
Oh yeah, that's why
So-
Infinity War works is because he's like a relatable villain.
Thanos,
kind
yeah,
of.
Thanos.
Because I'm almost like
entire-
I get that.
I almost wish that they had made, rather than making it like an apocalyptic scenario, that like the world was working perfectly,
Yeah.
and that the Avengers had to grapple with like, man, maybe he was kind of right. Like,
Yeah.
are we okay to bring
Yeah.
it
You
back
know
to
what's
this
like climate change
situation
is
we
the
were
thing.
before?
Like Thanos' entire civilization on Titan died.
Yeah.
He didn't
They-
wipe out half of his life on Titan. He was on Titan.
Like
saying,
his plan would help future generations
Yeah.
of people. So it's
Yeah.
hard to watch his head get chopped off and be like awesome because you're like I kind of like get what he was going for.
Yeah, no, it's
I,
like
I
it's
think
like
they really
if
only
Thanos-
do it with one scene in this movie, and I think like Captain America is trying to be like uber positive,
Yeah.
like all the time, and he's like, "Hey, I just saw a whale in the Hudson. How about that?"
Yeah.
Maybe Thanos was right.
Black Widow was
Am
like,
I
"Fuck
right? Like he's just like, "Wow, that's wild."
It's this debate that I always used to get into in my like environmental ethics course. I'm a biology major.
Here we
And
go.
I'm a biologist, and there's
I didn't mean to
this,
start a whole new thing.
Here we go.
there's this debate that's
Wrap it
constantly-
up.
No, to like get down to what this movie's about and what Infinity War's about.
3 hours in. Let's
I
get
did
down to
this.
this.
I'm
is
sorry.
is like
What's the brass tacks, my Kevin? Unless you're spitting out
One
beer,
sentence or less, Kevin. Go.
Kevin.
I will.
Kevin, unless you're making it
I really gotta go watch
theatrical
Game
like
of
I am.
Thrones. So I
Yeah.
am an hour
Say it.
away. So
Let's
we
go.
gotta go.
So
Forget it.
no, shut up.
It's not important.
So there's this constant debate of whether or not the environment
Here we
is an expressor on humanity or whether humanity is an expressor on the environment. So if we're going to be the best we can ever be as humanity, we need to control everything. And environmental ethicists say that no, we can't control everything. Fuck all of that. Fuck immunizations. Fuck technology. We should all just be hunter-gatherers and
we've passed the sustainable population
but
for the size of the planet.
if we keep pushing forward, not in the way that Trump's pushing forward, but in the way that technology is pushing forward, if we keep evolving, there's going to be a point where humanity is going to colonize the entire solar system and eventually the entire universe. Hopefully we reach that point. We probably won't because of war, nuclear winter, so on and so
Yes.
forth. So on and so
Yes.
forth. Infinity War.
Yes.
So Thanos had a good point, but fuck
Yeah.
him.
Thanos was right.
Thanos had a
Thanos
good
is
point.
daddy. Anyway, right?
I think
listen,
Tony
I want
Stark.
Thanos and Fat Thor to raw me.
Oh, you know, honestly,
Tony
Alright.
Stark is daddy. That's my point.
I think
Let's-
that's a
wait,
good
wait,
ending
hold on,
point.
hold on. Would we would all fuck Thanos, right?
I would.
Yeah, 1,000%.
No, I would.
Signing out for Common Fingers of Podcast.
No.
Thank you so much for coming on. I refuse to let this podcast
or Fat
eclipse the
Thor
runtime.
Answer. Would you fuck Thanos?
or Fat Thor.
2 hours and 54 minutes we're at right now.
Thanos is daddy.
We're done. Cut it. Cut it.
Who would you rather
Okay.
fuck?
Okay.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank
Fat
you,
Thor.
Lindsay.
Thanks for
Thor.
having
We'll see you guys
us.
at the
God, I'm
party.
so glad it's the
Love you,
end of
Nigel.
both
Love
of you.
now. Goodbye.
Between
Thanos or Fat Thor, Lindsay?
Fat Thor.